members, past and present presidents and committee members of ICI India, members and chairman of the Dubai chapter, every success on this auspicious and happy occasion. I compliment each and everyone for the high standards of professionalism we have become known for. Do you know one interesting fact about ICI Act? The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India Act was approved a year before the Constitution of India. That was on 1950, and ICI Act was approved on 1st July 1949. ICI counts itself amongst the oldest professional institution in the country. What is the motto of ICI? Ya esu suptesu jagrati, a person who is awake in those that sleep, is our motto. Any idea who gave this motto? Amit Trivedi. Sir, this motto was given by Sri Aurobindo, and it is from Upanishad, that is Kathopanishad. And the interesting story behind this, sorry? Yeah, oh, okay, thank you. The story behind this, a Central Council member from Southern India, CS Shastri, he has approached Sri Aurobindo for emblem and the motto. Then Sri Aurobindo gave that emblem, which is a Garuda, with the motto. And this was placed before the first council meeting of ICI India, and amongst all, this was finalized, and which is our real motto today. As financial professionals, we face internal and global competitions. Though due to high standards of ethics and inclination, we chartered accountants are on top of our competition. I am a firm believer of a saying by Bharat Ratna, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said, don't take rest after your first victory, because if you fall in second, more lips were waiting to say that your first victory was just a luck. If you fail, never give up, because FAIL, first attempt in learning. End is not an end, it is END, which means never, efforts never dies. And if you get a no as an answer, then remember, no is NO. It says next opportunity. So let's be positive. Today I'm not going to talk about CA can accomplish, can achieve. Those are gone now. So we should, when we have speakers like Kothari Saab, Suresh ji, builder, bodybuilder, and CA who is an actor, then we should listen something else. Any idea why the 1st July was chosen as a Constitution Day for ICI Act? No, this I already explained in a couple of back meetings. Any idea why 1st July? Why not 1st April? Why not 1st January? No. What is the financial year for Reserve Bank of India? No. So Reserve Bank of India financial year was July to June. In 2021, recently they have replaced from April to March. So because of the financial year of RBI, the act was approved by the Parliament on 1st July 1949. As we have today's theme, a journey from ordinary to extraordinary, a question must have came up in everyone's mind that what's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Former American football coach Jimmy Johnson, he classically identified the difference. What he said, it's a little extra. Only the word extra is different in ordinary and extraordinary. Extraordinary lives don't just happen. Elite athletes and movie stars don't wake up one day having achieved peak success. They have made a powerful commitment to take their lives from ordinary to extraordinary. They understand that the true key to success isn't the family you are born into or how much money you have. The ability to take ordinary to extraordinary comes from within. Before I go further into substance, I would like to warmly welcome today's chief guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar, guest of honor, CA Dinesh Kothari ji, Speaker CA Mandar Joshi, CA Kulvinder Ruhil, and CA Arshin Mehta. Chairman CA Anurag Chaturvedi, past chairman of the chapter, fellow members, friends and seniors in the profession, sponsors and my colleague in the managing committee and distinguished guests, a very warm good evening to all of you. I, Manoj Agrawal, Secretary of the Dubai chapter, welcomes each one of you to today's Chartered X Factor journey from ordinary to extraordinary. I express my sincere gratitude to today's speakers for accepting our invitation. I also thank each one of you for your active participation. A big round of applause for the speakers and all of us. While our speakers will take us through with their life journey on becoming extraordinary, it is now time to pay respect to our nation and profession. May I now request everyone to please rise for the UAE and Indian national anthems and ICI motto.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता.
Thank you very much. Please take your seat. As we all know, in November this year, ICI India is hosting the prestigious World Congress of Accountants 2022 in Mumbai. May I now request our technical team to play the video of World Congress of Accountants.
Geographically, the 7th largest country in the world, one of the oldest civilization, world's 6th largest economy, a global hub for innovation with one of the largest startup ecosystem. India, city of Mumbai on the western coast of Arabian Sea, among the most advanced and modern metropolises in the world, and the financial capital of India, gears up to host the most prestigious accountancy event of the world, 21st World Congress of Accountants from 18th to 21st November 2022, an event held every 4 years. The Olympic of Accountancy Profession. India hosts the event for the first time in 118 years since the WCOA came into being in 1904. Around 10,000 delegates expected to join virtually. More than 6,000 delegates from over 135 countries would congregate to exchange views at the world's most advanced Geo World Convention Center. The theme, Building Trust, Enabling Sustainability, will inspire the future of accountancy profession to create sustainable economies for the future.
The ICAI is honored to be the host for this mega event, which will bring together the world's largest conglomeration of professional accountants, regulators, leaders, and visionaries to advance the cause of the global accountancy profession. Now, with the ease of travel restrictions across the world and the situation returning to normal, we are working towards creating a never before and a unique experience for all our delegates. The year 2022 marks the 75th year of India's independence, and the Government of India is celebrating the year in a big way to showcase the glorious history of India. World Congress of Accountants 2022 would also be celebrated as a mega event to showcase the important role that the accountancy profession has been playing in the economic and social development of the country.
A never before witnessed unique experience of learning future trends, emerging avenues, enhancing skill sets, networking, and to explore the incredible India awaits you.
We at ICAI are pleased to host you here in Mumbai, the financial capital of India, for the 21st World Congress of Accountants with the theme Building Trust, Enabling Sustainability from November 18 to 21, 2022, and give you a professionally enriching and personally rejuvenating experience. We are hopeful that the conference shall be stimulating and productive, and your stay in India will be a memorable experience. Once again, we invite you for this enthralling convergence in India, the land of multicultural, historical, and spiritual inheritance since centuries.
Insights from the stalwarts of the profession, international and national standard setters, regulators, and trendsetters will constitute the panel of speakers at WCOA 2022. Let your dream get bigger. Come, be a part of this mega celebration. For registration and sponsorship opportunities, contact. Organized by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India under the aegis of IFAC.
Thank you very much. Let us have a big round of applause for World Congress of Accountants. We should all plan to visit World Congress of Accountants. It's a lifetime opportunity that it is being hosted in India. It's always essential to recognize the ones who always supports us. Let's recognize our sponsors. Thanks to our title sponsors, Saudi German Health, principal sponsors, Pan Emirates Home Furnishing, AGMC, Delhi, Lulu and IFCO, Platinum sponsors, Emirates Chartered Accountant Groups, WMS, Cloud Souk and UHY James, FMCG partner Aktia, media partner Khalij Times, institutional partner Delhi Private School and banking partner Bank of Baroda. Let's appreciate our sponsors with a big round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that today we will walk away with a unique experience from the extraordinary chartered accountants on their journey with this little extra. And today we have with us a banker, a businessman, a well-known personality of Indian diaspora, our today chief guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar. And to introduce Mr. Suresh Kumar, I would like to invite our Vice Chairman, Sri Harikishan Rakawat, to the stage. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Chief guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar, guest of honor, CA Dinesh Kothari, guest speakers, Chairman C. Anurag Chaturvedi, past chairman, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. First of all, I would like to wish each one of you a very happy CA Day 2022. And we are continuing that CA Celebration Day from yesterday, and that's the reason we have organized today's event, Chartered X Factor Journey from Ordinary to Extraordinary. In my view, all of us chartered accountants have passed CA exam, so we have done anyway an extraordinary job already. So let's have a round of applause for all of us. And you know that without CAs, no company can function, no business can grow, and no country can prosper. And that's why CA has moved from backroom to boardroom. At this moment, I get reminded of one of the most famous quote of Mother Teresa: do ordinary things with extraordinary love. So friends, with ordinary talent and extraordinary love and perseverance, everything is attainable. Now I am honored and privileged to introduce our chief guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar. Mr. Kumar has served as CEO and board member of subsidiaries of Emirates NBD Group for 27 years from 1985 till 2012. Later on, Mr. Kumar became chairman of the Federal Bank and IDBI, Federal Life Insurance Company in India. He is currently serving on the board of directors of a number of financial institutions in India and UAE. He has led various leadership roles in the transformation of remedial credit management, treasury, corporate banking, investment management, investment banking, and a whole gamut of innovative wholesale and high-value banking initiatives, and earned accolades such as Father of Mutual Funds and Capital Markets in the UAE in the year 1998. We can have applause for that as well. He is the founder and chairman of Tricolor Values Group. Mr. Kumar is also the chairman of Indian Business and Professional Council, Dubai. So ladies and gentlemen, could you please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Suresh Kumar to share his journey with us from ordinary to extraordinary.
Thank you, C.A. Rankawatji. I think that was a very generous introduction, and I hope I can remain deserving of your applause. I think it's a very interesting title. Sometimes I wonder whether it's a little presumptuous for me to say that it's an extraordinary journey. I think extraordinary, like beauty, is in the perception of the beholder. You know, it's all very well to say that I have an X factor or a Y factor, but I think really it's clearly a journey. And I'm reminded of this being a race for excellence, which, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, said it so beautifully. He said, in the race for excellence, there are no finishing lines. So in a similar way, in this journey, there are no finishing lines. The finishing lines are when you are still, only a memory, and it's for others to speak about it. What I think may be interesting, certainly, and I've never done it before, is to go back down memory lane and, with some nostalgia, speak about where I started and, what I did, what I did not do, what I should have done, what I did not do, the setbacks, the successes. And again, it was interesting. Only this morning I read a very interesting quote about, this is about Thomas Alva Edison, the person who manufactured the first light bulb. They produced the first light bulb. He made 100 attempts, and it was in his 100th attempt that he successfully produced a light bulb. So when someone asked him, so you had 99 failures, he says, no, I invented 99 times how not to make an electric bulb. So none of which was a failure, it was a learning, and as it was mentioned earlier, all of this is part of the learning experience. Every day I'm a student, I start the day praying that I remain a student, I learn, I continue to use whatever little gray cells that God has given me actively. I'm what many would call a type A person. I can't put my feet up and look at the sunset. So when I retired from Emirates and BD after 27 years with the bank, I said, I'm retired but not tired. So I'm going to be focusing entrepreneurially. So that's when I set up Tricolor Values Group. But maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. Let me go back to the early days. I will take you all back. If we cut back to 1963, I can see many young faces here. They may not have been born in that year. But that's the year I moved to Mumbai at the age of 13, so you can guess my age. I moved from the temple town of Madurai in South India, which was at that time a cozy little town, and I had no exposure to a big city. So it was a huge cultural shock for me when I went to Bombay at that time, as it was called, Mumbai. So Bombay was a completely different world because in Madurai, I had got a double promotion in school. I joined the American College High School, and it was, I had a great journey. And suddenly, I was like a babe in the woods in a big city like Mumbai, and found myself having to learn Hindi. And I was just talking to Dinesh ji about, he writes and speaks such beautiful poetry. And he said how meticulously he stores, valuable poetry, which he then absorbs and, shares with some of his friends. And I said, please do share it with us, because I think poetry is a cultivated art. Poetry, you take to it because that's the cutting edge at the intellectual level that you relate to. Verse is always more interesting than words, as they say. So interestingly, I had a cultural shock in Mumbai, learned Hindi. My Hindi teacher was a young man called Chaube ji, as we used to call him. And Chaube ji taught me Hindi in 4 years, what anybody else would have taken 12 years in school to learn Hindi. And I was successfully, not only successfully, I did very well in Hindi as a subject. So that shows the perseverance part that was mentioned earlier. I think the more you persist with it, especially with regard to languages, if you have a late start, you catch up very quickly. It's almost like a baton in a relay race. You catch it very quickly, you're ahead of the game. So school was focused on learning, as it should be, like all schools, and sports and everything else. Then I moved to Sydenham College. Sydenham was a different experience altogether. In Sydenham, I became highly externalized. I was chairman of the debating society, the economic forum there for the University of Bombay, or Mumbai as it is now called. I was the general secretary of the Students' Union, etc. So it was a transformation of a person who was introverted in 1963, in 1967 was externalized in a manner of speaking. So I took to a lot of extracurricular activities. And I think all of them, in a collective sense and individually, developed the person that I am. So if there is anything that I can credit with, it is the opportunities and your ability to take those opportunities, each of which, when I first went up on stage as part of the debating society to speak, I quickly rushed to the washroom before I came on the stage and did some prayers for the very first time. So that's, the nervous tension that actually prepares you better. So you start focusing on what are the important things, what is it that needs to be highlighted, and how you can be a boring speaker if you start talking too much about yourself, as I'm doing right now. So I need to balance it, narrate the incidents rather than talk about myself. So Sydenham was a great experience. As a college, it was a tremendous. I learned accounting for the first time from teachers such as, Professor C.A. Bansi Mehta, Professor Gatalia, and the like, all of whom were stalwarts in the accounting fraternity in Mumbai or Bombay at that time. And yet my personality, having been involved in economics, in management and other subjects, so I had a bit of a dichotomy or a dilemma as to what career path I should pursue. And I must make a confession here, I'm a CA dropout. I hope you will not forgive me if I don't mention it. But I joined the firm called PC Hansotia in Mumbai. PC Hansotia was a good firm, in those days. PC Hansotia was a good CA firm, and they quickly put me on a few bank audits and a few industrial audits, etc. I was not taking to audit, so Mr. Hansotia would call me and say, "What's wrong with you, young man? You're not focusing. I'm told you're wandering around, etc." I told him, maybe I'm not cut out for it. So he called his friend. So from accounting, I moved to advertising. He called a friend, Homi Karas, in a firm then called Clarion McCann, now called Erickson McCann, which is a very, very large advertising firm, and said, here is a good management trainee who communicates well, and you should work on him and groom him, etc. So I joined them as a management trainee, looked at media planning, media studies, media operations, account management, and the whole gamut of advertising from a very learned professor called Professor Sengupta, who was the professor of marketing at the IIM Ahmedabad. So he was a very distinguished personality. From him, I learned that for a year. Then I realized very quickly that my true calling was in banking. So that's when I took the competitive exams for SBI and joined SBI as a probationary officer. And probationary officers at that time were 0.1% of the total staff at the bank. So we were very special. So when I went for my first branch training in a small town called Yavatmal in Maharashtra, I went to the branch and I was staying there with the local deputy collector, who was an IAS graduate, fresh from graduation and completion of his probation period, and he was posted to Yavatmal as well. So we were both staying together. So I went in his Jeep and got dropped off in front of the branch and got up. The entire branch manager and the staff came out to receive me as I was a VIP. That's when I realized the culture in a small town, because when you are coming from Mumbai or Bombay, even your neighbors don't take note of you or recognize you. And that's when, in a small town, because I was with the local deputy collector, we used to have dinner and then go for a movie show. The movie would not start, even though people would be whistling and shouting, etc., until the deputy collector and I arrived at the music hall. So I suddenly realized that an IAS person in a small district town is received tremendously well. So, and then the banker came number 2 in the scheme of things. SBI was great experience. I was with them for about 7 years, during which time I got the Rotary International Scholarship, which took me to the US, and I worked with the Bank of America, Wells Fargo Bank, and the like. And it also required me to speak to Rotary clubs around California. And I would go to these clubs, speak like this, and speak about India, speak about the opportunities in India, the scale and the breadth and the history and the heritage of the country. And in some of these smaller towns, the chairman of the Rotary Club would, after I finished my speech and went and sat down with him for lunch, he would say, "You speak English very well." I said, "I learnt it for this trip." He almost fell off the chair. So that was their understanding then, and possibly even now. In many parts of the US, they have very little idea of what the rest of the world is. I mean, they were very concerned about their own local issues and local matters, but quite unaware of the rest of the world. I mean, let alone, the amount of general knowledge and the amount of worldly matters that you and all of us in India learn and imbibe. We are truly international in our outlook. That's not the case in many small towns and many parts of the US. I realized very quickly. And so they had their impressions, which was stereotype impressions rooted in, especially that was the year when Mrs. Gandhi declared the emergency. So India was very much in the news, sometimes for the right reasons, very often for the not so right reasons. Pictures and images that were presented or projected were not exactly the very best of the image of India. What a contrast compared to what it is now under the present Prime Minister, who's truly taken that image to a very high level, where India is rightly regarded as a strong emerging superpower, at least in economic terms. So that was in 1977. And in 1978, I got another fellowship. I was the first recipient of Lord Aldington Banking Fellowship that took me to the UK, the US, Belgium, and Germany to learn about a few things. Project finance in the main, Eurocurrency markets. And I also chose to study the diamond industry, which was in Belgium and particularly in and around Antwerp and Amsterdam, in those areas, in Holland as well. And that was a very interesting, long one-year stint that I spent in Europe, which stood me in good stead later. So I thought I would focus on the international banking aspects, etc., when I went back to India, little realizing for the third year in a row, I would get invited. This time, from the government of Dubai. I got an invitation to come and meet with them with regard to a project finance opportunity. So I came to Dubai in 1979. I remember clearly, it's 4th of September, and met with them. These, at that time, this was the projects in Jebel Ali, which was coming up. You had the Dubai Aluminum Company, Dugas, and the port in Jebel Ali, getting developed even further. So, like typically how a banker or an accountant would ask, I said, can I see the project feasibility report, the balance sheet of the company for which project finance is required, etc. The CEO was a British gentleman, Ian Livingston, and the finance director was Brian Mills, who was also English. They said, no, everything is on a need-to-know basis. I said, I thought I should know, otherwise how can I raise the project finance? They said, no, not now. First you understand what we are doing. I said, how can I understand what we are doing unless you tell me what it is? So we had a nice conversation over a few days. They gave me something to read, etc. And then I also found out in the course of that few days that the company was actually called Dubai Aluminum Company, LLC. And I looked at the share capital, and 300,000 dirhams, which is about $70,000, $80,000. The shareholder, sole owner was Sheikh Rashid, the late Sheikh Rashid, His Highness. So I went and told them, I said, 300,000 dirhams, and you want to do a project of $2.3 billion. Typically, as you would all know, on a debt-equity ratio basis, you need to have at least 20-25% of equity. I said, not 300,000 is not going to take you very far. Maybe not even a few days expenditure. Even in those days, in 79, 78, 79. So I said, I need to get much more commitment and information about the ownership, what it is going to be capitalized at. And the like. I said, not now. I remember it was Diwali time in October, late October. I went to India. I said, look, I can't take this. Maybe Dubai is not the right place for me to relocate to. And so I went and spoke to my wife during Diwali celebrations, and I said, look, I'm not going back to Dubai. She said, you have taken all the farewells here, and everybody has said that, goodbye and whatever else. It'll be like the proverbial return of the bad coin, so to speak. So I said, whatever it is, I don't think there's any clarity. Then I got a call from them saying, there is an important meeting, you need to come back. So I went back, arrived in Dubai, and the important meeting was with His Highness Sheikh Rashid. So I went along for that meeting, half made up in my mind that I'm not going to stay in Dubai. And so Sheikh Rashid quickly said, young man, I believe you have a problem. So I said, Your Highness, I don't have a problem, but I think you have a problem. So he was laughing. He says, what problem do I have? So I told him, this company has only 300,000 dirham, as share capital company, and we are talking about a 2.3 billion dirham project, 1.8 billion dollars at least, will have to be raised from banks, export credit, and a whole financing package of export credit, suppliers credit, etc., all of which would, in the international, especially in the Euro currency markets, will require to see some equity. I didn't want to complicate the picture with him. I said, look, there should be more capital in the company. That's the problem. That's no problem. He called, Mehdi Tajir was the head of the political, as Dinesh ji would remember in those days, Mehdi Tajir and Oscar Mandodi were in the petroleum department. He said, this young man wants some money, please capitalize the company, put money there. He didn't even use the word capitalize. He said, put some money there. Make sure that he doesn't bring any such problem to me. So we went back and very quickly, $500 million was put into the company. The company's financials were beefed up, and we went to the market. And the rest, as they say, is history. The company's $1.8 billion financing package, project financing package was all put together. And then I got a little bored with the job. I said, look, there is routine setting in. And I was always a person who was restless with routine, the routine work of managing. They said, no, you need to set up the treasury in the company and the sales function, etc., which was a challenge, very interesting challenge. So I set up the treasury systems, the loan management systems, the banking relationships locally, international sales agreements globally, because Dubai at that time and even now exports almost 99% of its production, or 99.9% of its production. Its purity is 99.9, its exports are 99.9%. Only the 0.1% is sent to Gulf Extrusion, a company in Jebel Ali, the Al Ghurair Group company. So it is very interesting, that journey. After about 2 or 3 years, another interesting development happened. Sheikh Rashid called us, and this time I had known and I had been connected with the ruler's office and with his office, so I knew exactly what he had in mind, but not my colleagues in the company. So they prepared a presentation for Sheikh Rashid and all the gizmos and PowerPoint and everything else. So he was in his majlis, he was lying down a little bit, and he said, straight away. I mean, they were going to make him a presentation. He said, no, I don't want all that. Young man, you raised a lot of money for me. I want you to pay it all back. So I kept quiet because, the CEO of the project immediately said, no, Your Highness, that will disturb the balance sheet, it will create issues, etc. He just ignored Mr. Livingston and he turned to me and said, can you do it? I said, Your Highness, your wishes are, come on, how long will it take? He said, I said, maybe 3 months, maybe longer, but we'll do it, we'll get down to it straight away. Because I knew that he was not well, and he had personally guaranteed these facilities. So I knew the sensitivities. He says, I don't want to leave behind any liabilities, so I want you to settle everything and finish it off quickly. Then he turned to them and said, you have obviously not done your homework. And the only thing he said is, try to close it as quickly as possible, even though it was a very complicated exercise, export credit, syndicated loans, bond issues, FRNs, floating rate notes, the whole gamut of project finance. This was in 83, late 83, early 84. It was done successfully within 3 months, and then again, routine set in my function. Although I was the treasurer of the project, I didn't have a job to do. Everything was done and everything was moving smoothly, etc. That's when I got a call to say that the banking sector in Dubai is in some difficulties, because many of you old-timers will remember that in 84, 85, there was a recession, 83 onwards. There was a recession in Dubai, there was overtrading, etc. And as a result of that, the banks were in difficulties because many of these were family-owned banks. And in 1983, as many of you will remember, there was a bank called Union Bank of the Middle East, which went into receivership along with Mr. Abdul Wahab Galadari's group of companies. It went into that was the first receivership on the ground in Dubai. So the bank was taken away. The government of Dubai capitalized it, acquired 80% of the shareholding, more than 80%, 82%. And the bank ran organically. And in 85, another bank called Dubai Bank, which was owned by Abdul Rahim and Abdul Latif Galadari, was also in difficulty, and the two were merged. That's when they contacted me and said, you've got banking knowledge and experience and management experience. Can you be part of the team that would restructure the bank? And I quickly looked at, like we all do, the balance sheets, etc. On the balance sheet, it was very clear there was nothing right on the left side of the balance sheet, and there was nothing left on the right side of the balance sheet. Almost 80, 90% of the loan book was what we would call bad and doubtful, manner of speaking, globally, not just in the UAE. So we created something called Special Accounts Section, which I headed, and the objective was nothing very dramatic: remedial management, recoveries, collecting money from all the local groups, large and small, all the international borrowers, so depositions, litigations, recovery management, visiting the courts, etc. And we did that successfully for a period of 3 years. Almost 50, 60% of the book was recovered. That's when we decided to organically grow the bank, what is now called Emirates NBD. That's where it started, through a merger. And then there were subsequent mergers and acquisitions. In fact, the bank grew more inorganically, that is through M&A, mergers and acquisitions. In 1991, Middle East Bank was acquired. In, as you know, 2007, the National Bank of Dubai and Emirates Bank merged to become Emirates NBD. So the rest so I've seen over these years 5 or 6 mergers and acquisitions. And it has been a tremendous journey, very transformative, personally, because I was almost mirroring the growth of Dubai in my own personal career growth, professional growth. And I think that is always a very rewarding time. And much of it is not because I knew the rocket science, it's simply because I was part of a journey which the city took, growing from an affluent village, which it was in 1979, to the vibrant metropolis town that it is today. So I think once you align yourself, you hitch yourself to the train of growth of an institution, of a country, etc., then I think you're a small cog in a big wheel, but it's a moving wheel, and it's a tremendous learning experience. So I think a couple of interesting things during the course. We worked very closely with the government of Dubai. We set up the finance department there, and often many projects. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed at that time, he was a crown prince, but which he announced. I had sometimes the unfortunate or the challenging role of going and mentioning to them that this is not a viable project. And to his credit, he would listen, and he would listen along with 40, 50 of the who's who of Dubai, all the Emirati businessmen ranging from the Al Futhaims to to Sheikh Ahmed bin Said and Al Ghurairs and Jamal Majid and the like. And to his credit, he accepted, and that's when project management office was set up within the government. They said no project will be announced until and unless it has been verified, there's been a viability exercise, there has been a feasibility study, there is a challenge, internal challenge, before His Highness announces a project. And you have seen that transformation in Dubai's own ability to manage the economy. So that's interesting. So in a sense, I have, ever since the time I started dealing with the remedial management portfolio of the bank, to this day, I've always preferred a challenging situation where you have to break eggs to make an omelette. So, egos, institutional egos, individual egos, tough decisions, etc. Do it gently, but carry a long stick with you. So I think that has been part of that learning experience. Federal Bank was similarly in a situation. The bank was very much a regional ethnic bank with 300 branches in 1 or 2 states. And I said, look, I can't be joining the board and let alone be chairman of this bank unless you quadruple, 4 times you grow the book. When during my period, we grew the bank from 300 branches to 1,200 branches, 10,000 ATMs, and the like. So each one of this is a transformation journey. You bring in high-quality management. Ultimately, the CEO has to execute on whatever strategy, vision, and planning policies that the board and the chairman put together. And I think so. That has been a learning experience for me from a governance perspective. So when I retired from an executive position as CEO in a banking group, the important thing was to migrate to the various boards, and also I decided to set up Tricolor Values Group to institutionalize your experience. I know that, like you all, I am a mortal. At some point in time, we will all fade away. But if we create an institution, if we work entrepreneurially, and even if we are working in a large organization, you work intrapreneurially, within the organization, set up new initiatives. Those will have a much longer shelf life. Those will live much longer. So that has been, interestingly, the journey. And the journey continues. Every day I get up and say that, look, I need to think it through. I meditate because that gives you the inner strength to cope with the challenges during the day. And here I am. So thank you very much. I think I've taken more time than I should have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suresh Kumar, for taking us through the life experience, and good to know that You have witnessed the growth of Dubai, and you are part of making ordinary Dubai to extraordinary Dubai. Thank you very much. Let us have a big round of applause for our chief guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar. Sir, I would like to invite CA Naveen Sharma ji, our chairman, C. Anurag Chaturvedi, and vice chairman to the stage for a felicitation. I'll request our treasurer, CA Jayaprakash Agarwal, to join us. We have been celebrating CA Day since yesterday. Celebration started with tree plantation at Consulate campus, followed by inauguration of ICA Dubai chapter office at DIFC, continued for blood donation camp, and today the Chartered X event. Each event activity or each activity needs time, though I think that office was the most time consuming. When I became first ExCom member in 2018, that time there was no discussion that we should buy an office or we should have our own property. And we are thankful to all past chairmen who provided us with this opportunity to continue their legacy for the chapter. The DIFC idea was incepted and executed by Naveenji, Nimishji, and Pankajji. We are really thankful for them to give us an opportunity to have a proper NPIO office in DIFC, which is a unique. That time it was a unique activity for any organization like us. We are thankful to CA Mahmood Bangara Saab for the idea to have our own office instead of rented one. We had reserve funds always for last 40 years, and he was the one who had started earmarking the fund for building. First earmark was 100,000 dirhams as building funds to buy our own office. Icing on the cake was C. Anish Mehta, who had allocated 500,000 dirhams towards the office. And finally, with the support of all committee members, under the leadership of C. Sundar Nurani, we were able to buy an office at DIFC. I do remember it was COVID time. Still everyone, including myself, Hariji and Anurag, we were aggressively searching for a good deal, better deal, and finally in July 2021, we entered into a sale purchase agreement. On 13 September 2021, we signed the transfer document and chapter became the owner of its own office. After 10 months of rigorous efforts, which requires to getting various approvals during this last 10 months, I learned a lot that just buying a property, they can't make you owner. For every time, you need to get a consent from the developer as well. Government is happy to get 4%, but after that, equal to that, you need to pay to the developers again and again. And we inaugurated the office on this historic Chartered Accountants Day under the leadership of C. Anurag Chaturvedi and all committee members. I would like to thank all past chairmen, current chairman C. Anurag Chaturvedi, vice chairman C. Harikishan Rakawat, our treasurer Jayaprakash, and ExCom member Rishi, Malavika, Amit, Dheeraj, and Sanjay for all their support to achieve one of the most significant milestones in the history of Dubai chapter, or we can say, to create a history. अच्छा मैं बोलने वाला था applause का, but आपने कर दिया. That is okay. Good. Thank you very much. And it was really emotional for me. And though at the end, office came out really very nice, I request everyone to please pay a visit after 20th of July, because we are doing some more improvements in the office. We all have X factors within us. This year's leader of the ExCom is well known for his extras. He is none other than our chapter chairman, C. Anurag Chaturvedi. Let us hear his X factor with the planned activities for coming months. Please welcome our chairman, C. Anurag Chaturvedi, to the stage with a big round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. Wish you a very happy Chartered Accountants Day. It's a great day, and I think it's the most memorable day for me because on this day, we managed to start the office. Obviously, it was a journey of 39 years completed in the year's 40th year. So it's remarkable, and this is what I'm going to cherish all over my life. Look, this has happened in the time when we were there. And as it rightly said by our Secretary C. Manoj Agrawal, the journey begins under the term of Naveen Sharma ji. But I think the biggest kudos I must give to our Secretary, C. Manoj Agrawal, because he was the one who was working around the corner since the time we acquired the property till the time we moved in. He was single-handedly handling all the things, approvals and things like that. So big round of applause to him. Friends, as we talk about Chartered Acts, this was one of the concepts I wanted to do for a long, long time. And why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to ignite that passion within each one of you, that you are not just ordinary, you just need that X factor to become extraordinary. And while I was talking for this event today, I didn't prepare any script. I said, okay, look, I'm going to talk from my heart, because this is very, very close to me. So, while I begin today to talk to you, I just want to take you a day back, yesterday, just only a day back. I was wishing everybody happy Chartered Accountants Day. Number of members have wrote to me that, Anurag, wish you a happy Chartered Accountants Day to you as well. But I'm sitting at home for last 3 months without job. Some of the members says that, look, opportunities are not there. We are facing challenges. Because this is the time I interacted with them personally. I sent a message to everybody personally. So they were writing back to me personally as well. Okay, look, there are challenges. And I realized, yes, there are challenges. But if the challenges are there, then only life is there. And often, during my journey of 5 years in XCOM, I interacted with a number of chartered accountants who always have one question in mind, that how do you do that? How did you make it here at ICAI? How do you reach from X to executive members to being a chairman of ICAI Dubai? Definitely, like, you're fortunate. I said, yeah, I'm very, very fortunate. So I thought probably it'll be just, I'll touch base on what this fortunate is all about. And friends, one of the biggest thing in the life, you know what, is hope. Whenever somebody talks to me, they call and they ask, like, despite of your busy schedule, how do you, find the time, sacrificing and all the things, how do you find the time? I said that at ICAI Dubai, the 9-member board, from generations, I can say that, last 4 decades, every managing committee work hand in hand to be of assistance for the members in contributing by different ways to them by enhancing their knowledge, enhancing and creating the opportunities for them, preparing them for facing the challenges, whatever new regulations coming out, new things happening around. So they continue to work. And what we get out of that? A great satisfaction. When you see the people out there, they come and they become happy that, oh, look, I attended this particular event. It was really a good event. I learned out of it. A lot of messages you are sending it to me. Personally, a lot of messages coming to me that, look, Anurag, the kind of event that you're bringing out there along with your team is really, really good. It's adding value. So this is the great satisfaction that we carry. Friends, I want to tell you that I was born in a very remotest area, which is not in the Google even. So the place called Bishungad, I'll show you the picture of that. It's called Bishungad, a village very, very, very remote. It's not on Google as well. In a very remotest district of Uttar Pradesh. My father is now retired. At that point in time, he was working as a professor in one of the college which was in the far remotest area where I was staying out. So when I was born, my mother was very concerned that what will happen to my kids? Like, as we all parents are worried about. What happened to our kid? We're going to live in this particular area and our kids going to be like this? Friends, I tell you, my schooling was in a school which I can tell you not even a building was there. So, look at the picture. This is what my humble beginning is from class 1 till class 8. वो कहते हैं ना कि कक्षा 1 से कक्षा 8 तक we didn't have the bags to carry. So my bag, the school bag was made of cement bag, right? So cement bag, they sew and they put together the kalambo dakka, we will say that wood slate, and then a pot which is made of chalk altogether. So that is how the humble beginning that I had in the time. We didn't know what was going to happen in the life. And my daily routine was like, when I just grown up a little bit, playing in the grounds out there. And we say that there's a one famous game in India, Indian game, the Skilli Danda. We didn't have hockey, no cricket, no basketball, no badminton and nothing. So my beginning was like Skilli Danda. And then if you get time a little bit, then put the, tire race altogether. This was like the time that we lived through. I didn't know. For me, English was alien thing. What is it? I don't know. So we were just only Hindi medium and Hindi guys learning things out there. So my mother was very, very concerned. And she always continued to worry. But then one thing she told me, very important, that if you dream big, you'll become big. So maybe in a month or maybe sometime, there used to be a plane pass by. So I remember that sometimes the planes pass by, and she used to me, look at this plane. This is someday you're going to be in that particular plane. Just wait for your time. And I remember the time also, so we were having some animals at home as well. So my father used to go early and come very late. So sometime to feed them, whereas I grown up, like, at the age of 6 or 7, I took the cycle, which is Atlas, I remember maybe Atlas or Hercules, the cycle. And then I used to go to farms to cut and chop the grass to put it on the back of the seat and come back and feed the cattle out there. Time passed by, it becomes 6, 7, 8. My mother becomes more concerned that, look, it's not moving out there. So she actually put foot down to my father, look, we have to move out from here. We need to go somewhere, better place, because we need to care about. But in this entire journey, what she had told me, she is used to show us, we didn't have television as well. So we used to go to a neighbor's house some point in time, and we get electricity some point in time. Otherwise, like, there was a batteries to put the television. So we saw Mahabharata, we saw Ramayana, we saw quite a few. Shanti, that time serial was there. So she told me one thing, that, who is the Nayak of Mahabharata? They say Arjun. She says, don't become the Arjun. Because there is no resources here, there is no Dronacharya here. There is no gurus, big gurus who can teach you finest thing. But then this told me that be the Eklavya. How many of you know Eklavya? Okay. And what is the specialty of this Eklavya? Self-learning. Eklavya's quality is, one of the biggest quality is, that he was a person who was able to learn by himself. He was rejected. He didn't have gurus out there. But what he has a will, passion, and determination that I will not be left out. I will make something big. So he made the statue of Dronacharya, the guru, and he practiced whatever he was teaching to Arjuna. And the same thing that I did. When I went to the city, a little bit better city, which is Manpuri, the people were looking at me, hey, you're from village. You're not going to be friends out there. But then I refuted. Look, I'm no less than you guys, and I need to do something good. My graduation went into the Hindi medium. English aati nahi thi humko us samay. To hum kya karte the? I mean, I remember those days, I used to memorize all these books in English and try to go to write the answers. Teachers were not ready to teach in Hindi because, that the world has moved out for so much better out there. But journey is what I wanted to tell you, friends. This journey is important. This hope is very important. Life can bring out very, very different challenges to you. We all can have a different beginning. But ultimately, if we are conformed and we are very, very determined towards our dreams, we can definitely do that. Rejections we had. We had rejections. When I went to the chartered accountancy, I didn't have any dream to do chartered accountancy, to be honest, because I was bio graduate. I done my graduation, but I didn't have funds to do medical. So in the hostel, we find somebody, look, chartered accountants, once you sign, they get 100,000 rupees, 2 lakh rupees. I said, yaar, bada acha course hai, 5,000 rupees mein ho jata hai. Let's do that. So I pursued chartered accountancy. Then again, rejection was there. You go to, you come from Uttar Pradesh, you come to Delhi, and you meet all the Delhites out there. You face difficult challenges. Look, people don't accept that easily, that, you come. You don't find good circle. If you don't find good circle, you're not going to learn again. So challenges are always there. Biggest challenge is the learning, from where you find this learning, what is the source of this learning. Today, I'm fortunate that I have been able to learn under the guidance of, 5 chairmen. A great knowledge and learning that I got from them. All of them taught a lot. And today, we are amongst all of you who continue to tell us, continue to guide us, continue to teach us so much. So the important part is that right circle, right friends out there, friends. So I'm not going to bore you too much with it, but then what I wanted to convey the message today to you, we all can have different start. And our future can be brighter. But one thing, what is this between the start and the finish line? What is the biggest thing that you all need to consider is the hope, your dreams. And if you have a dream that don't let you sleep, that continue to push you to do something extraordinary in your life, you will succeed. Nobody can stop you. Because we all are working in one single corporate which is headed by the God. And He's rewarding us all fairly. So if you put your 100% towards the goal that you have, I guarantee you that you can't be failed. You'll not fail. Only the challenges will continue, because challenges are nothing but obstacle in a race. And you will only cross the race, you will win the race if you cross all these obstacles, friends. So all my message to you today on the Chartered X Factor is that journey begins anywhere. But you all going to succeed should you continue to persevere, continue to work towards your goal with commitment. So thank you very much all for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Sir. Thank you very much. You didn't play Satolia? Satolia.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much for your kind words. It's really inspiring. I just would like to make an announcement that on 16th of this month, we are planning for estigation. That transfer pricing workshop is almost finished. Within this week, we are planning to release the circulars for you. Now, when we take our ordinary efforts and add just a little extra, we can still do amazing things. These things starts with dreaming. Everything in life with a dream. Those who move on to attaining their goals understand how important doing that little bit extra is with the dreamings. And to share how to execute the dreams and draw your future, today we have with us someone who started his career in the banking sector, became CEO with one of the largest financial sector in Dubai at the age of 29. He is none other than the pride of our fraternity, our guest of honor, C.A. Dinesh Kothari ji. To introduce Kothari Saab, I would like to invite our executive committee member, C.A. Sanjay Gagrani, to the stage.
Good evening, members. It gives me an immense pleasure and honor to introduce a person, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, The winner of various prestige awards, the Vice Chairman and MD of Delhi Private School, none other than C.A. Dinesh Kothari ji. C.A. Dinesh Kothari ji, he started his career with ICICI and Development Bank and moved to in UAE in 1974. And he joined Wakatir Group, Sharjah. As Chairman mentioned, at a very young, tender age of 29 years, he became a CEO of that group. But his entrepreneur skills, he has left the job and started his own advisory service firm. Later, he has started in a schooling sector in India in Jodhpur. And side by side, again, he started his schooling sector in Sharjah and Dubai. Mr. Kothari is a patriot who is in the journey of nation building, even it may be small, but in a significant way. In order to meet his social commitment, his school in UAE adopted villages in India and provided solar lamp under the banner of Light Up Building Nation. He has also initiated endowment programs such as Aao Sang Padhe to support deserving students of economically weaker section in India. Mr. Kothari has been conferred various awards such as Pride of India by IBPC and Mother Teresa Award for his contribution in the education sector. May I request you each and everyone, please join me and give a thundering round of applause to one and only C.A. Kothari ji.
Happy evening, happy CA Day. Our chief guest, Suresh Kumar ji, Chairman Anurag, all my fellow colleagues and professionals and partners in my journey. In fact, when you think about what is above your head, it's the sky. So when you raise your hand, can we all raise hand? We touch the sky. Can we push a little more? That's the little extra chartered accountant does. We do that little extra, and that's why we have that X factor. In life, that's where we start, by doing something extra on every step. Otherwise, you will never take the second step. I was reading about the topic given to me, Fearless Journey to the Pinnacle. Basically, what we are saying is you've seen the destination. But road to this destination had a lot of streets through failures, streets of failures. One doesn't reach there without failing on the way. One doesn't reach there without stumbling on the way. God had never promised us a smooth path. God never told us that you'll have a smooth path. It'll be a tough path. But He did promise us one thing. You cross the journey and the destination will be very happy. And that's what we have. We walk through that path and we reach a destination which is a happy destination which we can feel very happy about. Sanjay did say a lot of things about me, and I won't say I'm not worthy of it because chartered accountants never lie. So thank you very much. But I would like to start by saying कि ख्वाहिश नहीं है मुझे मशहूर होने की, आप मुझे पहचानते हो, बस इतना ही काफ़ी है. क्योंकि मैं अक्सर थक कर मिट्टी पे बैठ जाता हूँ क्योंकि मुझे मेरी औकात अच्छी लगती है. मैं वहीं से उठाऊँ, वहीं रहना चाहता हूँ. We all have grown from there. I don't know how much I can talk about my journey, but I come from a middle class family from Jodhpur. My father, my grandfather, they all were government servants. And as you know, in India, if you're a honest government servant, you don't have money. We are not short of money, but we didn't have abundance. We didn't feel that we could not get what we wanted, but we did not have cars to go to the schools or did not go to public schools. So like as Anurag, you were saying, I grew up till grade 8th, class 8 in a government school, where I recall my annual tuition fee used to be about 110 to 150 rupees. And I walked to the school. Sometimes my uncle would drop me on a bicycle because we were not allowed to use my grandfather's government vehicle because he would not let us do that. So we grew up with that. And after my schooling till grade 8th in Rajasthan, my parents took me to Calcutta. Now, Calcutta had fantastic schools, St. Xavier's, the Scottish Church, but they all were expensive. Plus, it was difficult to get into them. The only reason I got to the next class was not because I was a brilliant student. I got to the next class because somebody else wanted my seat in the previous class and he pushed me out. I said, please leave it for us. You go to the next one, and that's how I got to the next one. After doing my schooling in Calcutta, then, and it was the same time me and my elder brother were in the school and college together. He is about a year and a half elder to me. And he qualified and passed his exams to go into BITS, Birla Institute of Technology. We both were science students. So my mother decided that एक बेटा engineer हो गया, दूसरे को नहीं बनाना, तू CA करेगा. And you know, it was a perception in the mind that intelligent boys did science and less intelligent did commerce. It was a perception. And very correct perception that time. Because I was less intelligent, that's why mother said, you better do commerce. So she sent me to Jodhpur to stay with my grandfather to do my BCom. And since my heart was not in commerce, because I wanted to become an engineer, I thought I should also be a smart and intelligent student. So I spent more time playing rather than studying. And when my first year exams results came, obviously I had not done well. I was staying with my grandfather, Nanaji, my mother's father, because I did not have Nani, so he said, send the less intelligent one to me and I'll try to make a man out of him. So one night, my grandfather called me in his office, he was a lawyer, and said, beta, padhoge nahi to karoge kya? ये third division में BCom first year pass किया है, तो you will not even find a job as a clerk anywhere. And believe me or not, my friends, that entire night, I sat in my room thinking, at age of 18, is that what I have to listen from my grandfather? That you're good for nothing, or padhoge nahi to karoge kya? Basically what I'm saying, that was a tipping point. It touched me inside. It hurt me inside. And then I challenged myself, basically to my grandfather, that I'm going to establish that I am not necessarily as bad as everybody thinks I am. And in the University of Jodhpur, we were 5 friends. I got good company. And all 5 of us has the 5 top ranks of the university. Needless to say, I was the number 5. The other 4 were much more better than me. But that helped me, a company. You keep good company, you learn good things. So I did my BCom in first division, and then came the next decision to do chartered accountancy. Those years, there were 2 firms or 3 firms in India which were best known, SB Bilimoria, A.F. Ferguson, Bartley Boy and Company. So I applied to all the 3 for articleship. In our time, a first divisioner BCom could be taken as an additional article. So I got called to Bombay. I went to Bombay to SB Bilimoria, and they said, we don't have a seat, additional article in Mumbai, but we have in Hyderabad. So I went to Hyderabad to do my CA, and I became chartered accountant from there. And I realized in the later years of my life that it was very nice that I went to a small firm, not to a big firm in Mumbai, because that I got opportunity of learning, lots of things, because in a small office you end up doing everything. And one of the biggest lessons I learned, I had gone for audit, Suresh Kumarji, to Singareni Collieries, which was the largest colliery. And I was article clerk and sitting in front of the financial controller, he was an IS officer. And he was looking at files, and every file that was marked urgent, he would throw it on the floor. And he was clearing the other files. So even if I was 20, 21, so I said, sir, I don't understand. All urgent files you are throwing on the floor and the non-urgent files you are clearing? He said, yeah. Because the man who has sent me the urgent file is basically telling me, I have delayed it, you don't delay it. So I'm not clearing it. He has to learn to work in time. And that was one lesson I learned at that time, that if you want to get things done, respect time, do your work in time. Don't say that I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it day after tomorrow, do it that. That was one lesson before I became a chartered accountant. And before my results came, I applied for various jobs. I applied at Ferguson, I applied Mahindra's. The day my results came, I got a call from Air Ferguson that come and join. I went to Bombay from Jodhpur to join Ferguson, and I was staying with a relative of ours. And he said, तुम ICICI में काम क्यों नहीं करते हो? आप तो ऐसे बोल रहे ICICI नौकरी मेरे जेब में और मैं नहीं जाना चाहता हूँ. He said, don't join Ferguson today. So he sent me, he knew obviously somebody at ICICI, he fixed up my interview, I went there for interview. For 2 months, they kept on interviewing one after another, one after another, one after another. And it was always, we'll call you again. I got very frustrated because I qualified as a chartered accountant, I was still a burden on my parents, taking money from them, and that was not acceptable. So one fine day, without telling anyone, I went and joined Ferguson. That's the day when I got a call at my house, my uncle's house, asking for me, and they said that he has gone to Ferguson and taken up a job there. I got called from there, and I had interview with Shri H.T. Parekh Saab. He was then chairman of ICICI, and it was a custom in ICICI that to recruit anyone in the project appraisal department, the final interview had to be with the chairman. So he said, what was your hurry that you went to Ferguson? I said, last 2 months I've been unemployed after qualifying. And I had to ask my father for money every month. And therefore I just thought, maybe I'm not accepted, I'm not fit to join ICICI. That's why I was just asked to come in again for the interview, but somebody didn't tell me that I was not approved or selected. He said, no, we have done well, we wish to make an offer. And that's when he started talking to me about my family. Then I told him my father, he was working in Hindustan Paper Corporation. Then he told me about uncle. He said, anybody else in the family who is in the government service? So my uncle was Joint Secretary, Ministry of Finance, R.M. Bhandari. And he was CCI, Controller of Capital Issues. And all the chairmen of Indian banks and institutions literally reported to him. He said, you're nephew of R.M. Bhandari, how come you never told us? You know, at that age, you are very cavalier. So nobody asked me, sir, about my family, and I don't want to join on the strength of my uncle's name. I want to join if I am found fit. Anyway, I got the job. Grand salary of 550 rupees, living in Mumbai. Marwadi boy, gets a job in Bombay. He's a chartered accountant. So my father and mother decided that I should get married. 23 and a half. You've done enough. You don't need anything more. Without telling me, or without me seeing my wife or girl, they fixed up my engagement. And I got a postcard from my grandfather that yesterday was your engagement ceremony. And your bhua, my aunt, she took the engagement ring and put it on the finger of my then wife, fiancé, and you are granddaughter of so-and-so. Now, one of the reasons why I did not see the girl was also there's a background, because I did tell my mother that in my life I'll do everything, but I'll never go and see a girl. I'm not going to do cattle shopping. And the reason was very emotional, because I had gone through the pain of seeing boys coming to see my sister and rejecting her. So that day I said, I will not do to any other girl. Because the pain of a girl being said no is very, very treacherous. So anyway, so after 3-4 months, I decided that let me at least find out who am I engaged to. So from Bombay, I went to Jodhpur. And the first question my grandfather asked me, "Abhi kyun aaya? Abhi to koi kaam hi nahi hai yahan pe." So I told my grandmother, मतलब आप समझाओ जा करके, मैं क्यों आया हूँ यहाँ पे, मुझे देखना है जाके मेरी सगाई किसके साथ हुई है. So anyway, I must say, my parents and my grandparents made a fabulous decision. My wife is not here, so I'm appreciating in her absence that she's a wonderful wife. And wonderful companion, she stood by me, and then we got married, came back to Bombay, salary of 550 rupees. I made a request to ICICI, they gave me an apartment in Borivali, a 2-bedroom apartment, but in Borivali, and our office was in Churchgate. Unfurnished, and I didn't have money to furnish it well, so we put scanty furniture, whatever we could afford. And we got invited for dinner at my uncle's friend who lived in Grand Paradis, Malabar Hill, posh area. So that evening when we were having dinner, I was 23, my wife was 19. So somebody asked her, "Where do you live?" So she said with a lot of pride, कि ICICI ने हमको रहने के लिए बोरीवली में 2 bedroom का फ्लैट दिया है, because I used to tell her बॉम्बे में 2 bedroom का फ्लैट मिलता नहीं है. So the comment she got, "Oh, beyond Bandra, those who are economically weak live in that area," which was true. Nothing false about it. So my wife asked me on the way when we were going by the train back to Borivali, are we that poor that we live in the poor colony? I said, "What happened?" So she gave me that background. I said, "God willing, someday I'll buy an apartment opposite to theirs in Grand Paradis." And I did buy one. And after that, I came to Dubai. I joined Bukhatir Group as finance manager in one of their construction companies. After a year or so, Sureshji, as you were saying that you got bored, I also got bored, but the routine was over. Setting up a new company, starting a new company, the excitement of processes and procedures was done. So I decided to go back to India. So by the time I also had a baby. I had a son, 9-month-old son. So I told my wife that, "Why don't you guys go and check in at the airport? I'll go and say goodbye to Mr. Bukhatir, and then we go to India. I'm not staying here. I don't like this job. Every morning, construction company, buying cement and steel and paying workers' salaries, that's not my cup of tea." I came from ICICI, project financing, meeting the top industrialists in the country, and so on and so forth. So Mr. Bukhatir thought I was going on summer vacation. So he said, "वापस कब आओगे?" I said, "मैं वापस नहीं आ रहा, I'm going for good." Why? I don't like this job. I just don't like this job. The reason I'm saying this, unless you have heart in something that you do, you don't excel. And you don't give your best. So I gave up that job. Mr. Bukhatir sent his general manager to the airport to get my wife and my son back from the airport. He said, "You're not going. Take it out of your mind." He transferred me to another company, which was a project management company. We were setting up new projects to raise some debt for the Holiday Inn, Marbella Club, Novotel. So I raised debt funding because that was my background. And that was finished in 2 years. So I was again restless. I said, "I have no more job. My job is finished." That's when he transferred me to Bukhatir parent company as the executive director, and I became the CEO at the age of 29. The journey was interesting. I was lucky. I was fortunate. I was the right place, the right time, with the right person. And he gave me that platform. I grew from there. I did very well. I had no regrets. But one evening, I heard my son, who was hardly 6-7 years old, telling one of his friends that he could not come to play because he had guests at home. And guests were my parents. So I did tell my wife that day, if grandparents are guests, my being CEO is meaningless. It's absolute. I failed as a father. We got to quit. We got to take kids back to India. They have to grow up in India. They have to know who the grandparents are. I gave up. That's when I started on my own. I started investment banking business in India, as well as with a base in Dubai. Journey went on. then I think it was 97 winter in Jodhpur. I was attending a wedding. And D.R. Mehta Sahab, you know, Deputy Governor Reserve Bank of India, he made a comment, Dinesh, I know you have done well for yourself in life, but you've given nothing back to the society. It's no good. What good it is? You may have made money, you may have bought flat in Malabar Hill, blah, 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 and Dubai, great job, CEO. That night, he showed me a building, dilapidated, and he said, why don't you take over this school? Because I told him I'm not getting into Agarwal community development or Jain community. It has to be something which is not community-centric. But let's do something which affects all, improves everybody's life. And that was education. That's how I got into education. That night, 12 o'clock, I saw that building, and next day I signed the lease. I had no clue how to do a school. I come back to Delhi, and I got introduced to Delhi Public School Society. I collaborated with them, set up the first school, and then the second one in Sharjah. Now, with the grace of God, we have 6 schools here. And we are serving about family of about 18,000 kids between India and here, and we feel very satisfied about it. The reason I'm sharing this is because somewhere in life, this feeling comes in, what more? What am I doing? What am I giving back? What legacy am I creating? What am I leaving behind? Bank balance for my children? Or something which the community will remember. Now, the school in Jodhpur is not mine. I'm only a trustee. That is community school, belongs to the community. And that's where you start feeling happy and you start feeling satisfied that there is a sense of satisfaction that what you've done well, and you can feel satisfied about it. As I was saying, the journey, during this journey, there were failures. I will not count them because they'll outnumber my successes. I had more failures than the successes I've had. There was a time I was reading a very nice poetry of Harvansh Rai Bachchan, कि कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती और लहरों से डर के नैया पार नहीं होती. There was a beautiful stanza in this, which was on failure. असफलता एक चुनौती है स्वीकार करो. असफलता एक चुनौती है स्वीकार करो. सोचो, समझो और उस पर विचार करो. जब तक न सफल हो नींद चैन को त्यागो तुम, और मुश्किलों से घबराकर मैदान छोड़कर मत भागो तुम. आखिर बिना कुछ किए तो जय जयकार नहीं होती और कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती. After that failure of one of the schools that I did set up, we didn't do well and we had to shut it down. Very painful, very painful. But after reading this, we set up 4 more schools after that. Because हमने सोचा हम कहाँ गलत थे, हमने क्या गलत किया. And that's when you start fixing your mistakes. I don't think there's any journey where we don't make mistakes because we are humans. We make errors of judgment. Sometimes we become emotional. कि ये तो हो जाएगा. There's nothing wrong being emotional. I believe in romance. You must have romance with everything that you do. You must have romance with your work. You must have romance with your boss. Because if you don't like him or her, you'll always be in confrontation. And confrontation cannot get you success. Confrontation can only take you down. I think Anurag was talking about time nikalna chahiye. Such an important message. I don't know, we all remember those young days of ours when we had a girl living in our neighborhood and we found an excuse to go on the terrace to look at her and exchange a flower. I think 90% of us have done that. कि पहले उनसे मिलने के लिए वक्त चुरा के लाते थे. अब तो फुर्सत होती है तब मिलते हैं. ये ज़माना आ गया है. Please find time. Have romance with what you do. Love what you do. Because I believe when you love what you do, you succeed. तो जिससे मोहब्बत होती है ना, उसमें कभी गलती नजर ही नहीं आती. इसलिए अपने काम से मोहब्बत करो, अपने दोस्तों से मोहब्बत करो, अपनी फैमिली से मोहब्बत करो, जब उनसे मोहब्बत होगी उसमें कमी नज़र नहीं आएगी, उनकी हर कमी अच्छी लगने लगेगी आपको. And that's what I believe. As long as we find the best in everyone, that's what we learn. Other day, I was speaking in some other forum, and somebody got up, a young boy, and said, "Sir, what is the success of? What is the mantra of success?" I told him, "Success has no mantra. You just walk your journey, have an open mind, you look at opportunities, grab them. What works for you out of 10 things, that is the success of mantra. That works. What works is your success. What works is your mantra. There is never a preset mantra. You can't take out a book and say, chapter 31 says this, do this, then you succeed. No. No businessman has opened a book, chapter 31, to succeed. He has walked his journey. He has had an open mind. He adopts as he goes along. He changes. And the second mantra I personally believe, which I have practiced in my life, is man management. To remain on the top, you are like a roof on the top. The guys who are at the top are the roof. Who are your pillars? People who work under you. They are your props. If they are strong, you stay on the top. If they are not strong, you fall down on the ground. So be first a team leader before you want to be a team player before you want to be a team leader. A good team player becomes a wonderful team player, a leader. And that's the lesson I learned at a young age. And that I believe is one of the things that have gone with me in my favor, that good team, good people. At the end of the day, I don't teach physics and chemistry and English in the classrooms. They teach. But if they are good, the students are wonderful, they're satisfied. And the results are good. We feel satisfied, parents feel satisfied because we are serving the humanity. And we are doing this not for those parents. We are doing it for ourselves. We want a safe tomorrow. And our tomorrow is safe if today's generation is good. Thank you very much. Wonderful. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Kothari sir, to let us know your journey, which is really inspiring for all of us. Let us have a big round of applause for our guest of honor. May I now request our chairman, Anurag Chaturvedi, Vice Chairman Hariji, and CA James Matthew to the stage for a felicitation. Now it's time for a group picture. May I request all the speakers with XCOM on the stage, please. Sir, one more time. Arshin and Mandar. We have done 4 activities for CA Day: tree plantation, blood donation, office inauguration, and an event. Now 5th one is there, to cut a cake. It's a eggless cake, which we request members to join us, and then after that we'll proceed with the remaining sessions. Another most crucial aspect of igniting X factor is learning. We cannot move into the realm of success without first learning how to get there. All successful people spend years learning how to perfect their craft and develop a mindset destined for success. Our speaker, CA Mandar Joshi, will take us through his learning curve and how he was able to find out his X factor. And to introduce CA Mandar Joshi, I would like to invite our executive committee member who has X factor of doing something unique for the fraternity and socially, CA Malavika Kolera, to the stage. Let us welcome Malavika with a big round of applause.
To introduce our very first Chartered X of the evening, CA Mandar Joshi is an angel investor, keynote speaker, startup mentor, and deal advisor. He has postgraduated with double masters in management and commerce and is a chartered accountant certified by institutes in UK and India. He has addressed 45 plus nationalities through keynote speeches and panel discussions. He is also a proud mentor to immensely successful startup founders. He has been associated with structuring high-value, win-win strategic alliances and is a leader of large-scale IT application projects such as business intelligence and ERP. Please join me to welcome CA Mandar Joshi on stage, who will take us through his X Factor journey.
Thank you, Malvika. Good evening, Chartered Accountants. Anurag, thank you for inviting me here. X Factor journey, very nice theme. I'm sure, Anurag, you coined this term or this tagline, X Factor journey, after Mr. Suresh Kumar and Mr. Dinesh confirmed their attendance. Sir, today, this address from me, this speech from me is truly a speech from ordinary to extraordinary. So, see, this is where it gets really difficult. When I speak at events like this, I'm very conscious about the sequence of speakers. So now you have really extraordinary two speakers, very senior speakers before you, and then the audience is expecting a stunning bodybuilder and a beautiful actress after you. And then you put me in the middle. Hopefully I can. So let me start with the beginning. After chartered accountant and after serving with Ernst & Young, I became India CFO at the age of 25 for a company called Imeris. It's a fairly large company listed on Paris Stock Exchange and is into mining and chemical manufacturing business. A very typical CFO job, but I was very young that time, only 25 years. After that, Sir Richard Branson says that if someone gives you an amazing opportunity and then you don't know how to do it, just say yes and then figure out how to do it. This is pretty much summing up my journey so far. So whenever I got an opportunity, and even if I don't figure out how to do it, I just said yes, and then I took the pressure, I took the stress because I can fail. I learned to figure out how to go about it. Mostly I have been successful, failed sometimes. So the same company after that gave me another project. I was made head of business intelligence for Asia Pacific region, covering 8 countries. I was 28. 2 years in that project. I was covering from China, Taiwan to Indonesia and Singapore, the entire Asia Pacific region for the company. And then I was promoted to regional CFO of Southeast Asia region. I was relocated to Kuala Lumpur, And then I was leading 5 countries, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, the entire Southeast Asia region. Then in that time, I think I was 30. And then at the age of 32, I was headhunted into a company to become a group CFO of a company called Global Gases Group, which is headquartered in Jebel Ali Free Zone, Indian company, operates out of 21 countries. And I was, again, fairly young for the position. So a lot of opportunities. I was very lucky. I got it very early in my career, at a very early age. But at the same time, what I realize now in the hindsight, when I look back, that I was also ready to take those opportunities, which is very important. So I was also preparing myself, never said no for challenges, preparing myself to take those opportunities. And then in 2015, I left my corporate career and I established a company called M Strategy Global. So how many of you are in their corporate career? How many of you are salaried employees here? So fairly large population. So let me stop here and let me give you a few learnings that I had during the corporate career, and of course after that as well, but it is specifically for corporate career. So the first thing is, someone asked Mark Mobius. Mark Mobius is a very famous investor. Someone asked Mark Mobius, what's your advice to young generation? And he said, take the passport and use it. And this is what exactly happened with me. So when you are in corporate career, I got the traveling opportunities, 8 countries earlier than 21 countries. So I traveled a lot. And something that you learn during traveling, otherwise you will never be able to learn. So this is an advantage of, and that is all for free, all for free. So this is an advantage of a corporate career, which when you are at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, you start talking about budgets and yahan pe paisa kharcha karu, nahi wahan pe save karu. But in corporates, you have that opportunity to travel. So take those opportunities, my advice to you, and then go for it. And then on the journey, on the way, figure out how to do it. You will fail sometimes, as I failed, but mostly you will be successful. So traveling is one thing. The second thing that I would like to focus on for all of you is I never considered office timings. This is a very unorthodox way of looking at things, and I'll tell you how. So those days, I remember we had 5.5 working days. I was in India. This is 2004, 2005, and those days, Saturday आधा दिन काम होता था, and then Sunday full day off, and Saturday. So 5.5 days was, and then in 2005, Emirates, our group, French group, for India, they changed their policy. They said now 5 days work week, not 5.5 days. So Saturday, Sunday, full chutti, right? Now government has done 4.5 days work week, right, in UAE. And then everybody was happy. So we had 2 corporate offices, Pune and Hyderabad, and then 4 plants, manufacturing plants of Emirates. Everybody was happy. People were celebrating. I was also happy. And I'll tell you why. Because I knew that all these lazy people are going to be even more lazy now. आधा दिन और काम कम करना है. And I was always working for 6 days a week. So I always have that half a day brownie point more. And now I'm going to have 1 day per week extra. So 1 day per week बहुत होता है, because it is like 52 extra days you work. You work for almost 14 months when others work for 12 months. And this, I think, made it easier or smoother for me to upgrade in my career and get those promotions very early. My advice to whoever now I meet is basically, you do something for the company, because you are getting salary, you have to be loyal to them. So you do something for the company. But at the same time, do something extra for yourself. The X factor will come from that extra half a day, 1 hour, 1 day per week working. So this is second. Now I'll come to the entrepreneurial part. I started M Strategy Global as a company, in Sharjah Media Free Zone. I still have that company license. They gave you a paper license. There is no office. There is no staff, nothing. I work from home. And my MBA was in strategic alliances, mergers and acquisitions. So I didn't want to do audit and tax and accounting. I always wanted to do transaction advisory. Now, into M Strategy, M Strategy Global, I realized that all the fancy, all the glamorous transactions are going to the big fours. Nobody is coming to Mandar who is working from home with no team, and even if I had experience and so on. And then that time, any and every client is welcome. You know, you are new. ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरा इतना ही fee होगा, मैं यही करेगा, ये नहीं करेगा, ऐसा नहीं है. So I was new and every client was welcome. This is where a few startup founders came to me. Now it was 2015. So we had Souk.com, but the transaction with Amazon had not happened. I think we had Kareem, but it was not so popular. Or we didn't have Kareem, I don't remember. But the startup momentum was not built in this region. And then a few startup founders came to me, you know, innovators and technology and so on. And startup founder के पास generally पैसा होता ही नहीं है, right? In the early stage. And I respect that because they are, you know, very frugal and trying to manage there and scale up and so on. So what they offer, and there are a lot of chartered accountants practicing here and they will understand what I'm saying, what they offer you is sweat equity. They give you a dream. They say that, oh, मेरा company $100 million हो जाएगा, sir, आपका 2% share इतना हो जाएगा, तब. And then I had no option because वैसे भी client नहीं मिल रहे थे. So I took this startups. I took 3. They registered my sweat equity, whatever it was, 1%, 2%. 2 of them failed. And 1 succeeded, and I exited in 2018 around 20x, 20 times my fees, which I would have got 2 years back. During that journey, because I was dealing with startup founders now, you know, and कोई उनकी सुनता नहीं था, they cannot afford big fours, right? But they need that financial, legal, modeling or market research advice. And then I became the startup, tried to be the startup person for them. So a lot of startups started coming. So I learned through the process of 2 years. In 2018, when I exited in 20x, मैं तो बोला कि ये धंधा बहुत अच्छा है. You know, you don't get the cash, you just survive, and then you pick up good opportunities, and then in 1-2 years, you earn maybe 10 times, 20 times of what you would have earned. And in the meantime, the knowledge was also building. So this is where, and then what happened is a milestone came. Something changed my life. I met a gentleman called Dr. Apurva Ranjan Sharma in 2017, early 2018, and that changed my life. Dr. Apurva Ranjan Sharma is today considered as the godfather of Indian startup ecosystem. I joined his company. I became a shareholder in 2017-18 as well. And he is the president of our group, which is called Venture Catalyst. We are now ranked as Asia's largest integrated incubator. We have invested in more than 450 startups in India. All credit goes to him. Whatever I have learned, from the bottom of my heart, I say that I have learned from Dr. Apurva. I got my Dronacharya there. Today we have done, we have partner offices in 48 cities in India. Outside of India, we have offices in London, Singapore, Hong Kong, Bangkok, Dubai is our office as well shared, and New York. And this chapter started with Venture Catalyst. I understood how to mentor startup founders, what they lack, what they have, and so on. I got a few learnings, and which I will share with you. So Dr. Apurva has taught me one thing. So we do not invest in any startup founder, and it's a little bit strange. So we do not invest in any startup founder who is doing something other than that startup, which means that we do not invest in a startup founder who has a full-time or part-time job, and he is trying to build a startup. Now why? Or he has 2 businesses, one, inherited business from his dad, his family business, and he is trying to build another one. Now, as an investor, why? Because we want the startup founder, so Dr. Apurva कहते हैं, my guru, that वही startup founder successful होता है generally, whose life and death is dependent on that one project. If he is involved in part-time job and the project, always there will be a division of attention, that is number 1. And number 2, he always have that plan B. And then I'm investing in plan A, so मेरा क्या होगा as an investor, right? वो तो चला जाएगा, वो बोलेगा चलो नौकरी का, आगे करते हैं, venture बंद कर देते हैं. So things like this I learned. So this is one thing, and there are many more. They are now, I would say, trade secrets. But this is how we became popular. We became successful. So in India, if you know a company called Bharat Pay, it's a $3 billion plus company now. Now in news for wrong reasons. But we exited, so we gave the first check to Mr. Ashnir Grover, venture catalyst, and we exited 6 months back with 197x. That's 197 times our investment in 3.5 years. By the way, let me tell you another story, because I'm talking about Dr. Apurva. Dr. Apurva is one who invested in somebody called Mr. Ritesh Agarwal, the founder of Oyo Rooms, when Ritesh was 17-year-old. And then Dr. Apurva exited from Oyo Rooms when Sukoya Capital and SoftBank Vision Fund came in with a 250x, his personal money. And then he started Venture Catalyst as an institution, because unko laga ki now I can multiply the... So till now, 450 from the incubator. Then we built our first regulated, SEBI-regulated fund called 9 Unicorns Accelerator Fund. It is an idea stage fund, $100 million fund. Then we launched another SEBI-regulated fund, $100 million fund, Beams FinTech Fund, which is FinTech Growth Fund. And then the journey goes on. Now let me touch base upon the other thing that I started doing in 2018. And I want to give you in another 5 minutes, and that's where I will stop. But another 5 minutes, my philosophy, my investment philosophy, how the investor in me thinks. Now, this is not related to venture capital. This is my personal venture. So we produced a show, a reality TV show called Horses Stable in India. Our 4th season is shot now. We did 22 crores of investment on the show. And then we are coming on 16 July on Aaj Tak HD. This is something similar to Shark Tank India or Shark Tank. And then we started it. The first season came on YouTube. The second season came on Jio TV, OTT platform. We didn't get the TV. The third season came on Aaj Tak as well as MX Player. And now the 4th season is going on Aaj Tak HD. And it will take 3 or 4 more seasons to establish an IP brand in India. Now, why I invested? So, first of all, I am a theater actor, part-time. And I always wanted to do something in media and entertainment world. And what can I do in media and entertainment world is produce a show, a TV show, which is related to my profession. And then we started this reality show, which is, again, we call our investors horses. They call sharks. And then they sit on the panel. And then startup founders come, they pitch, and the transaction negotiation happens on camera. And then the investments happen. This is the format of the show. And we have a startup guru as a deal negotiator between the two. So this is normal, Shark Tank show. Now, when the investment was very high, a few crore rupees to produce the show. Now, I'll tell you the investment philosophy. So I always think of the worst case scenario of an investment and the best case scenario of an investment. So for the best case scenario, let me give you a case study. Let me give you a case study of Shark Tank. So Dragon's Den, the first one, they call their investors dragons, started in Japan in 2001. Pay attention. 2004, they came with a new IP, Tigers of Money, also in Japan. Then an American company licensed this product, this IP of Dragon's Den, to America, but they didn't want dragons because dragons are more for Asia. And they created a new IP in America called Shark Tank, and this was 2009. And then Shark Tank came to India 2021. And Shark Tank is more than 30, 35 countries today, right? So what does this tell you? Is if the best case scenario is you become Shark Tank, you become Dragon's Den. And then those days, by the way, in 2009, there was no internet. There was internet, but it was not so broadly spread out. There was no OTT. YouTube was not that popular. And still, it took probably, 12 years for Shark Tank to come in India and have 25, 30 countries. Which tells you that with the power of internet, right, with the power of OTT platforms, with the power of YouTube, probably a new IP generated in India will take lesser time than 12 years, in the best case scenario, to become an international or global franchisee. Now, this is the best case scenario. We target to do that. I hope we do that one day. Now, what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is हम शो बनाएंगे, फ्लॉप हो जाएगा, किसी के भी ध्यान में नहीं रहेगा. After 2 years, nobody knows what is horse stable. Just like today, most of the people don't know, right? And पैसा डूब जाएगा. But in the worst case scenario, what's going to happen is I'm going to enter into the media and entertainment world. I'm going to network with the people which otherwise I will never network, because I'm always networking in the financial world. And that is enough for me. I will create a personal brand, and that is enough for me. So the worst case scenario was not bad enough. The worst case scenario was not worst enough, and we invested in the show. Today, after 4 seasons, we have co-produced the show now. So we have a production company called Horses Productions Private Limited. Mr. Sunil Shetty, aka Anna, has a production company called FTC, and we basically created a joint venture 50-50 to form a company called Walk of Fame. And Walk of Fame is the producer of Horses Stable, Jo Jita Wahi Sikandar. Anna has given us a lot of support. Because of Anna, then what happens is sponsors come, channels come, everything then falls into place. When we invested, we didn't know that this will happen. Now our dream, the next one that we are targeting, is Horses Stable Junior. This is not a funding show, Horses Stable Junior. हमारा सपना ये है, हम ये करना चाहते हैं कि एक बच्चों के लिए प्लेटफॉर्म हो जाए एज अ रियलिटी शो. सो आज तक whatever you have seen as kids reality shows on Indian TV, क्या किया है? Either गाना गाया है या डांस किया है. Am I right? So now what we want is, we want the kids between 10 years to 17-year-old to go and talk about a business idea, talk about an innovation. And that's it. It's a typical reality show. They will be given prizes. So when this idea came up, Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO of Niti Aayog, he retired last week, and Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, the head of Atal Innovation Mission, they came together. Government came together. They said, let's create a nationwide competition, involve all the schools in the country, and then let's create this show, not just one show which is appearing on TV. Let's create a physical thing. This I never dreamt of, that somebody like Dr. Chintan Vaishnav and Mr. Amitabh Kant will support. Now we are working hand in hand with them, and inshallah, our intention is clear. Our intention is to create something that has never happened in India before, and hopefully we are successful. I think first season will be launching now, beginning of 2023. It's a long project. Now, before I end, I just wanted to share something, because Anurag said, share your philosophy, life journey. So let me share something with you. I do something called death meditation. Now, this is the word death meditation I call. I don't know what to call, and it is right to do or wrong to do. So what I do, just like Muslims pray 5 times a day, I just sit. And you can try, by the way. I've been doing it for a few years, and the impact is massive. So you just sit for 30 seconds or 1 minute, close your eyes, in a very peaceful room, and just remind yourself that the death is certain. 2 things you have to remind. The death is certain, and the death can come anytime. Now what happens? फर्स्ट टाइम नहीं होगा, थोड़े हफ्ते महीने के बाद होगा, लेकिन होता है. What happens here is 2 things happen. One is you lose all that swabhiman, all that garv, all that pride of achieving something. You lose in that 1 minute, because ये सब खत्म होने वाला है. The second thing that happens is more important, is creates a sense of urgency for you. It creates a sense of urgency for you. It tells you 5 times a day that you have a deadline to achieve, and you don't know what is the deadline. So better do it fast. Do whatever you want to do now. So somebody told me I think a few years ago, somebody told me 20 years from now, you will be regretting for the things you did not do more than the things you actually did. So I don't want that regret. And that's where this helps, the meditation helps, and the journey continues. Thank you, Anurag, for giving me opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandar. It was really a fantastic session. Let us have a big round of applause for our speaker. Now I would like to invite our chairman, vice chairman, and past chairman, Sri Nimish Makwana, to the stage, and Malavika Kulera to hand over a memento as felicitation.
Friends, I want to bring out some of the facts to you today. In this term, the ExCom is so fortunate to receive your love in many ways. I mean, I think this is our first event of July, and 3 months have already gone. But the kind of expression of love that you all have given to us is really commendable. And this love is in form of historical moment. Yesterday, 1st July, not only we inaugurated office, but we have recorded highest number of membership in ICI Dubai chapter. Highest. So this year the membership count is now 2,918 right now. And I promise you, friend, that the days are not far. Probably another one more week, we'll cross 3,000 mark with all your blessings and things. So what does mean that nearly 60% of the members are associated, 60% of the chartered accountant in Dubai are part of the chapter. So this is really one of the very big thing that we are envisaging for last 39 years. So we'll break that mark. Thank you so much, everybody. Another thing that happened, interesting fact, that yesterday we have a blood donation drive. In blood donation drive, hundreds of you have turned up. And we कहते हैं ना कि रक्तदान is महादान, वो जीवन दान kind of stuff. So you all come in such a large number, and again this year we have recorded again highest number of members, which is more than 100. It's 106. So big kudos to our executive member CA Amit Khetan. He was working very hard for it, and since the start till end, we are very diligent team this year. They have been very active throughout the time. So big round of applause for them. And one thing that I take before I just onboard another speaker, as Mandar has just said, that he also do the drama in the time and acting a little bit of that. We all need to be actor friends, seriously. Situations are there. Sometimes you go to board meeting, sometimes you go to MIS reporting, sometimes you go to the client meeting. What I learned in my life, you have to be an actor because every situation is different. So you need to prepare yourself and then act in the right manner. So if you're not actor, you're not going to win that particular meeting. So be an actor in everybody. Thank you, Mandar, for sharing that.
Chairman, sir, we are actor at our office, and and consultants are actor in front of the client. The next important aspect to kindle X factor is taking action. Sitting on the couch and dreaming will never be enough to make them your reality. You have to take action. Achieving success means playing full out. Stretch your comfort zones, get uncomfortable. We only grow by stretching. By all means, take baby steps. The first step is making sacrifices. We cannot get without giving something in return. And to go from ordinary to extraordinary, we will have to make sacrifices. This could be a sacrifice of time, money, relationship, comfort level, or character traits. Second is taking the opportunities. The longer we are involved in the process of moving from ordinary to extraordinary, the easier it will be for us to see the opportunities that float past us daily. Have you guys heard about Sehat Singh? You can Google the Sehat Singh, and today we have our chartered speaker who believes in stretching, making sacrifices, and grabbing the opportunities to add extra to the ordinary. Our speaker, CA Kulvinder Ruhil, will take us through his experience on how much to stretch, sacrifice, and identify the right opportunity to find X factor. And I believe he will not ask us to stretch here now. And to introduce CA Kulvinder Ruhil, I would like to invite our executive committee member with multiple X factors, a businessman, a travel blogger, and of course, a chartered accountant, CA Amit Khetan, to the stage, please.
Good evening, members. Thank you so much, CA Manoj Agrawal, for wonderful introduction of mine and giving me the opportunity to introduce the speaker who is going to cover a topic which is very close to my heart, though I'm not a bodybuilder, but yes, I'm a fitness freak. And since the CA Day celebration is continued, so once again, a happy CA Day to all of you. Being a chartered accountant, we are famous for playing with the figures in terms of finance and accounts. But there is a chartered accountant who is playing with the figures in a totally different manner. And while working so hard, we chartered accountant, most of us, forget to take care of our fitness. But there is a chartered accountant who is working so hard for our fitness. Yes, I'm talking about our next speaker, CA Kulvinder Ruhil. Before I invite him, let me tell something interesting about him, something interesting which you not read in his profile, which we sent to you in the circular. Though now he's belonging to the fashion and the fitness world, but that doesn't mean that he was the average student while pursuing his studies. Though he's a gold medalist for securing highest marks in the CA final exam of advanced auditing, and he has cleared his CA in the very first attempt. And he has got the Best Model Award also from the BITS Pilani. And CA Kulvinder is an entrepreneur who is focused into health, fitness, and healthy eating. He is currently owning and operate 2 fitness centers and 4 cafes across Delhi and NCR. To extend the impact his knowledge of fitness, he curated a fictional character, Sehat Singh, that imparts the knowledge through the humor, sarcasm, storytelling. Sehat Singh has more than 100,000 followers on the social media. His cafe serves the wholesome, healthy Indian food, which are backed by his belief that to stay healthy, and your food does not need to be a fancy and very complicated. And sticking to your basic is the main key of your fitness. Let's listen more the fitness fundas from himself. So please join me to welcome with huge round of applause the fit gentleman, CA Kulvinder Ruhil. Kulvinder, I read it on your Insta page that पोथी पढ़ पढ़ जग मुआ, पंडित भया ना कोई. पंडित का तो पता नहीं, but CA जरूर बन गए. Your take.
Thank you. पोथी पढ़ पढ़ जग मुआ, पंडित भया ना कोई. इसकी दूसरी लाइन मुझे आप बता सकते हैं? ढाई आखर प्रेम के पढ़े जो पंडित होए. नमस्कार एवरीवन एंड प्रणाम टू ऑल माय सीनियर्स. आप लोगों से आज बहुत सीखने को मिला मुझे. थैंक्स टू दुबई चैप्टर टीम and Honorable Anurag Chaturvedi sir for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to share my life story with all of you. My name is Kulvinder Ruhil and I am also a chartered accountant. an entrepreneur, a blogger, a fitness coach who has had the privilege to train a numerous sportsperson and clients and help them in achieving their goals. So this is my story of passion and profession. My journey from chartered accountant to सेहत सिंह. सेहत सिंह क्या है इसके बारे में मैं थोड़ा सा आपको आगे आके बताऊंगा. Before starting my journey, I want to ask you all of you one simple and interesting question. यहां पे मौजूद ऐसे कितने लोग हैं जिनकी कमर उनकी उम्र से बड़ी है? How many people present here having a waistline more than your age? आंसर जो है वो खुद को दीजिएगा, हाथ मत खड़े कीजिए. I don't want to. Just a flavor of Sehat Singh, what Sehat Singh does, doing in real life. Disclaimer, before starting my journey, I just want to give a disclaimer. I hail from a lower middle class family, being a son of a constable, Delhi police, and being the youngest and the third child. I was the first one to go to an English medium school during my higher secondary. First one to go English medium, so my English is medium. So I request you to bear with my medium English. I hope I don't disappoint you more. Fitness journey. जीवन में जो काम किया है ना बहुत शिद्दत से किया है, नहीं तो नहीं किया है. बस मेरा एक बेसिक सा फंडा रहा है, बीइंग ऑलराउंडर इन स्पोर्ट्स, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज, एजुकेशन, सब चीजें जो है वो बहुत मन लगा के करी, कोई भी काम आधे मन से नहीं किया. तो रिजल्ट्स भी इसी तरह से आते रहे. स्कूल टॉपर रहा हूं, कॉलेज टॉपर रहा हूं. सीए का रिजल्ट आया तो उन्होंने बोला कि भाई तूने गोल्ड मेडल, तेरा ऑडिट में बेस्ट है. कभी टॉपर रहने के लिए नहीं पढ़ाई करी मैंने. आई एम टेलिंग यू ऑनेस्टली, मैं ऐसा ब्रिलियंट स्टूडेंट नहीं हूं. स्कूल कॉलेज की हर उस एक्टिविटी में हिस्सा लिया है जिसमें मतलब मुझे होना चाहिए था, चाहे वो फैशन टीम हो, चाहे वो वॉलीबॉल. आई वाज कैप्टन ऑफ स्कूल वॉलीबॉल टीम, माय कॉलेज वॉलीबॉल टीम. तो ये सब चीज़ें साथ साथ चलती रही हैं, पढ़ाई भी साथ साथ चली है. और साथ साथ चलने का मतलब मेरा ये रहा है कि बेस्ट करना है. देखो इस चीज़ में, पर्टिकुलर चीज़ में कितना क्या बेस्ट हो सकता है, मैंने अपने उतने एफर्ट्स किए हैं ईमानदारी से. जितनी भी चीज़ें मैं अभी बोल रहा हूँ, इन सभी चीज़ों को बहुत ध्यान से इनको पिरो के मैं आगे जोड़ूंगा. मतलब जो मैसेज मेरे लिए, आप सबके लिए एक रिटर्न गिफ्ट है. मतलब शायद आप मेरी बातों से वो रिटर्न गिफ्ट आज घर ले जा पाएंगे, यहां से लेके जरूर जाएंगे, इतना मेरा आपको आश्वासन है. ये गोल्ड मेडल की फोटो लगा दी है, कहीं आपको यकीन ना हो. मेरे सीए बनने की फोटो भी लगा दी है. अक्सर लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं भाई अपना मेंबरशिप नंबर बता दे. They don't believe me. So this is the fictional character Sehat Singh which I created. सेहत सिंह कैरेक्टर से पहले एक बैकग्राउंड मैं आपको बता दूं. आई पास आउट माई एग्जाम इन 2010. फिर एक जोश, अभी दिनेश कोठारी सर ने कहा कि सोसाइटी को क्या मतलब आप देते हैं. ये बात मुझे बहुत मतलब यंग एज में रियलाइज हो गई थी. मुझे कोई ऐसा काम नहीं करना था जो मतलब मुझे नहीं उसमें किक आती थी. यूपीएससी का तैयारी किया. आई रोट मेंस ट्वाइस, 2 बार मैं मेंस के एग्जाम लिख चुका हूं. उसके बाद मैं बहुत अच्छे तरीके से प्रीलिम्स में फेल हुआ. लेकिन मतलब इतना क्लियर था कि कुछ करना है समाज के लिए, और ऐसा मतलब मैं करना ही वो चाहता था कि मतलब जिसका इम्पैक्ट हो, नहीं तो नहीं हो. अब गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट भी है लड़का. 4 साल मैंने यूपीएससी की तैयारी में लगाए, और फिर मैं बैक टू स्क्वायर वन, फेलियर. एक दोस्त के साथ मिलके सीए प्रैक्टिस ज्वाइन की और चली गाड़ी आगे बढ़ी, लेकिन कभी मन को संतुष्टि नहीं हुई। मतलब नॉट अ सिंगल डे इन माई लाइफ दैट आई गॉट सेटिस्फेक्शन। तो फिर एक दिन, देखिए मैं एक्सरसाइज कर रहा हूं 2002 से, 14 साल की उम्र से मैं एक्सरसाइज कर रहा हूं और बहुत ज्यादा ही शौक रहता है चीजों के बारे में जानने का, कॉन्सेप्ट समझने का, उसके पीछे का लॉजिक समझने का। वो शुरू से ही मतलब वो वाला ब्रेन काम करता रहा है। अब सोसाइटी के लिए क्या करना है, मीनिंगफुल क्या करना है, मेरे लिए कभी पैसा कमाना कभी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं रहा। आई एम टेलिंग यू वेरी ऑनेस्टली। शायद वो अब ये इमोशनल डिसीजन कहेंगे या आप इसको, मेरे लिए शायद नहीं था। और ऐसा भी नहीं कि मैंने जैसे बताया कि परिवार ऐसा था जिन्होंने सिद्धांत और मतलब प्रिंसिपल ही दिए। सर ने मुझे एक बात में सुन रहा था, उन्होंने बोला कि सरकारी आदमी ऑनेस्ट ना, उसके पास पैसा नहीं होता है। मैं बोल रहा हूं कि मेरे पिताजी कांस्टेबल थे, ईमानदार थे, ठीक है, तो उनके पास तो, लेकिन उन्होंने सिद्धांत दिए, उन्होंने भरोसा दिया। सेहत सिंह का कैरेक्टर उसी चीज की खोज थी। दिमाग में आया कि यार दुनिया में सुपरमैन है, स्पाइडरमैन है, ठीक है, ही मैन है, अब वंडरफुल वुमेन भी है। मतलब ये सभी तरह की चीजें जो हैं वो यूएस से, अमेरिका से निकल के आई और वो छा गई दुनिया में। हमने भी दिए हैं, हमने चाचा चौधरी दिए हैं, आर के लक्ष्मण दिए हैं, बड़ी सारी कार्टून बुक्स हम सभी लोग पढ़ते थे। सो ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक वही खोज थी कि मैं एक फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर, एक ऐसा कैरेक्टर क्रिएट कर सकूं जो आपको हंसाए, गुदगुदाए और एक मैसेज दे जाए। मैं किसी को भी, मैं आप लोगों को फोर्स नहीं कर सकता हूं कि भाई कल आप एक्सरसाइज करना शुरू करें। मैं आप लोगों को फोर्स, आई कांट फोर्स, मतलब ऑल ऑफ यू कि भाई अब ये बॉइल्ड खाना ही खाना है। मतलब हेल्थ या फिटनेस एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जो बहुत नीरस है, बहुत बोरिंग है, तो उसके लिए कुछ करना था। सेहत सिंह पिक्चर में आया, देसी है, देखिए इसने आई वॉच भी पहनी है, आप देखेंगे देसी समझ के इसको, वो देसी मत समझ लीजिएगा। विज्ञान, सभी चीजों की इसको नॉलेज है। अब सेहत सिंह करता क्या है, मतलब मैं आपको वो दिखाऊं तो एक स्लाइड के थ्रू मैं उस मीडियम के थ्रू आपको मैसेज देना चाहता हूं। डॉक्टर साहब उम्र भर स्मोकिंग की है लेकिन कभी कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई, उम्र भर, लेकिन सर आपकी एज 26 साल तो है। सो दिस इज व्हाट द कार्टून, द मैसेज इज, द इंडियन माइंडसेट कितना देती है, 2 रोटी में 40 किलोमीटर। आपको हंसाएगी, देखिए सेहत सिंह की हर बात आपको हंसाएगी, आपको रियलाइज कराएगी। फास्ट फूड आपको स्लो बना देता है। वकील साहब जल्दी घर आइए, पिताजी की तबीयत खराब हो गई है। सन इज कॉलिंग लॉयर नॉट डॉक्टर। So this is what सेहत सिंह is doing in real life. तुम नशे में डूबे रहे और परिवार मुसीबतों में। पेट और ईगो जब हद से ज्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं तो इंसान चाह कर भी किसी को गले नहीं लगा पाता है। Is it true? पैसे के अभाव में पढ़ाई छोड़ने वाले बहुत मिल जाएंगे, लेकिन पैसे के अभाव में गुटखा, तंबाकू और शराब छोड़ने वाला कोई नहीं मिलेगा। सही पॉस्चर सिर्फ एक्सरसाइज करने के लिए नहीं होता है, आपके बैठने का, आपके खड़े होने का, आपके चलने का, दौड़ने का, लेटने का, सोने का, सभी का पॉस्चर सही होना चाहिए। अपने शरीर की अवेयरनेस रखिए। अब इस पर्टिकुलर स्लाइड में, इस वन लाइनर में मैं आपको ये नहीं बोल रहा हूं कि आपको जिम जाना है या आधा घंटा योगा करनी है। मैंने एक बेसिक सा एक फिटनेस टिप्स दे दिया आपको यहाँ पे कि इफ यू आर होल्डिंग योर स्पाइन स्ट्रेट, बस, क्या आपके जूते आरामदायक हैं? लस्सी, छाछ, दही की जगह पेप्सी, कोका कोला जैसे प्रोडक्ट्स ने ले ली है और आपको लगता है कि एडवर्टीजमेंट आपका कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ पाएंगी। इंसान अपने आप को जब तक स्वस्थ मानता है, जब तक उसे कोई रोग नहीं लगता। रोग लग जाने के बाद कल रात उसने कितनी पूड़ी खाई थी उसका भी हिसाब रखता है। ट्रू? कुछ लोगों की उम्र 25 हो जाती है, लेकिन उतने उनके घुटने 50 साल के हो जाते हैं, कमर 60 साल की हो जाती है और शरीर 70 साल का हो जाता है। देखिए, मतलब मेरा, आप थोड़ा सा आप सेहत सिंह का या उस जो मैं काम कर रहा हूं उसका आपको एक आइडिया लगा होगा। मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है, इससे ज्यादा सटीक लाइन होनी चाहिए, अभी ये चीज मेरी प्रायोरिटी नहीं है। सर ने जैसे बताया कि फैमिली के लिए टाइम रखिए, कमा सब लेंगे, सब आखिरी में कमा लेते ही हैं। मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जिस दिन वो जागती है ना अंतरात्मा, वो कमाने वाली चीज तो हो जाती है, लेकिन उस कमाने की उसमें रैट रेस में है ना, बड़ी सारी चीजें पीछे रह जाती हैं। तन जितना घूमता रहे उतना स्वस्थ रहता है, और मन जितना स्थिर रहे उतना स्वस्थ रहता है। देखिए, ये जो भी मेरे एफर्ट्स थे, या मतलब जिन चीज़ों के लिए भी मतलब मैंने कोशिश की थी, उसके नतीजे आने शुरू हुए। सेहत सिंह जो है वो फेसबुक पे काफ़ी पॉपुलर होता चला गया। वे बैक इन 2016 80,000 90,000 लोग उसको फॉलो करने लगे थे। मुझे भी थोड़ा सा एक कॉन्फिडेंस आया। अब उस पेज ने क्या जादू किया, मैं उसकी आपको एक झलक दिखलाता हूं। ये हैं गूंगा पहलवान उर्फ वीरेंद्र सिंह उर्फ अर्जुन अवार्डी, पद्मश्री अवार्डी। भारत सरकार ने इन्हें ये सब अभी सब इनाम दिए। ये स्टोरी मैंने शेयर की थी 20 जुलाई 2016 को। 3 बारी के डेफ ओलंपिक्स चैंपियन है, 4 बारी के वर्ल्ड चैंपियन है डेफ ओलंपिक्स के। लेकिन फटे हाल, बुरे हाल, जितनी मुसीबतें आप सोच सकते हैं उनमें ये जी रहे थे। सेहत सिंह जो है, इनकी स्टोरी शेयर करता है 20 जुलाई को। आप इसमें डेट देखिए, ऑनरेबल प्रेसिडेंट प्रणब मुखर्जी से 29 अगस्त 2016 को ये अर्जुन अवार्ड इन्हें मिला था। इसमें आप शेयर देखेंगे, इस पोस्ट को रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया के पेज ने शेयर किया था। तो ये जो है उस सेहत सिंह का, कह लीजिए, मेहनत है या एफर्ट्स हैं ये। अभी हाल फिलहाल में इन्हें पद्मश्री अवार्ड भी मिला है। फिर ये मुझे थैंक यू बोलने के लिए आए थे। चलिए, जो मैंने आपको बोला कि टेक अवे जो आप यहां से लेकर जाने वाले हैं, मैं आप एक छोटी मतलब कोशिश करूंगा कि एक समराइज वे में आप सभी के साथ वो चीजें शेयर कर सकूं। तो हम सब जो है कमाते हैं, मतलब द अर्न वाला थिंग इज लाइक वी ऑल आर डूइंग इन आवर लाइफ। तो इसी तरह से सेहत सिंह ने एक कॉन्सेप्ट डेवलप किया है, टू अर्न योर बॉडी। ठीक है, और जब भी मैं बॉडी बोलूंगा उसमें आपको फिजिकल हेल्थ, मेंटल हेल्थ, स्पिरिचुअल हेल्थ, आप जिस भी एस्पेक्ट पे देख लीजिए, आपकी इमोशनल हेल्थ, वो सारी चीजें आ जाएंगी। तो उसके लिए मैंने एक ये बेसिक सा फंडा, सेहत सिंह ने एक बेसिक सा फंडा रेडी किया हुआ है। एक्सरसाइज, एटीट्यूड, रेस्ट और न्यूट्रिशन। तो एक्सरसाइज वाले पार्ट में मैं मेंशन कर रहा हूं कि आपको 20 मिनट ऑफ योर चॉइस, आपको जो वर्कआउट अच्छा लगता है, अपने आप को फिजिकली एक्टिव रखा करें। मैं आपको ये नहीं बोल रहा हूं कि 1 घंटा जिम जाना है या 1 घंटा स्विमिंग करनी है। फाइंड आउट आपका कौन सा, ऑफ योर चॉइस। आपको जैसे वो रहता है ना कि यार मुझे गोलगप्पे खाने अच्छे लगते हैं, मुझे टिक्की खानी अच्छी लगती है। एक्सरसाइज का अपना वो ढूंढिए, जब भी आप उस चीज को निभा पाएंगे, उस रूटीन को निभा पाएंगे। फाइंड आउट योर कंफर्ट लेवल। 20 मिनट एक्सरसाइज, कुछ भी आपको वॉकिंग अच्छी लगती है, आपको वट एवर यू लाइक, डांस अच्छा लगता है, योगा आपको अच्छी लगती है। दूसरा फंडा है एटीट्यूड, राइट अप्रोच। मेरे रिस्पेक्टेबल पहले वाले जितने भी मेरे स्पीकर्स थे, सब ने ये चीज बोली है। अब इस पर्टिकुलर एटीट्यूड में मैं एक शब्द जोड़ना चाहूंगा, अवेयरनेस का। आपको अपना अवेयरनेस जो है रखना है। खाते हुए हम फोन देख रहे होते हैं, ठीक है, हम टीवी देख रहे होते हैं, वो पेट जब भी भर जाता है ना, वो आपको सिग्नल देता है कि भाई मैं भरने वाला हूं, मैं भर गया हूं, रुक जा। लेकिन वो अवेयरनेस नहीं होती है। जितना भी फिजिकल, मतलब जितनी हम तरक्की कर रहे हैं, हम अपना अवेयरनेस वाले फैक्टर, जितनी भी फैसिलिटीज अपने पास आ रही हैं, हम उस अवेयरनेस वाली चीज को पीछे छोड़ते जा रहे हैं। अवेयरनेस इन एवरीथिंग, वट एवर यू आर डूइंग, आप काम कर रहे हैं, पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, मूवी देख रहे हैं, फैमिली के साथ हैं, अवेयरनेस वाला फैक्टर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है। जो खाना खाओगे वो शरीर को लगेगा भी, अगर अवेयरनेस होगी तो। तीसरा पॉइंट है रेस्ट का। अब रेस्ट देखिए, एक मैंने पोस्ट बनाया था कि माँ कहती है बेटे को, बेटा ऑफिस जा रहा होता है, बेटा बिजी, नाश्ता तो करता जा। तो वो कहता माँ टाइम नहीं है। और बेटा बिजी जब नेक्स्ट मतलब घर से निकलता है तो वो सीधा पेट्रोल पंप पे जाता है, बोलता है गाड़ी टैंक फुल कर दे भाई, मेरी गाड़ी का टैंक। आपको मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है? मतलब व्हाट्स द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ रिकवरी और रेस्ट। आप लोग 16 घंटे 18 घंटे मेहनत कीजिए, मतलब मुझे खुशी है कि भगवान ने आपको इतनी ताकत दी है, आप जोश दिया है, लेकिन दैट रेस्ट एंड रिकवरी वाला पार्ट दुनिया में कोई भी स्पोर्ट्समैन किसी भी लेवल पे है, ये सबसे जितना जितना इंटेंसिटी के साथ वो ट्रेनिंग करते हैं ना, उतना इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है उनके लिए रेस्ट करना। एंड द फोर्थ पार्ट इज न्यूट्रिशन, खाने वाली चीजें। देखिए मोस्ट ऑफ और मतलब जितने भी लोग यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर हेल फ्रॉम इंडिया। आपकी जो भी प्रैक्टिसेस आज तक रही हैं वो खाना आपके लिए बेस्ट है, ठीक है। खाने के अंदर न्यूट्रिशन देखा करें, कैलोरीज ना देखा करें, इतनी कैलोरीज हैं, न्यूट्रिशन देखा करें कि इसमें वाइटमिन्स कितने हैं, मिनरल्स कितने हैं, प्रोटीन कितना है, मतलब वो चीजें बहुत काम की हैं। तो खाने को कैलोरीज की नजर से मत देखा करें। दिस इज व्हाट मतलब द अन वाला कॉन्सेप्ट इज। आई डू होप कुछ बेसिक बातें आपको इसमें समझ आई होंगी। ये आपके लिए सेहत सिंह ने एक पिक्टोरियल वो दिखा दिया, ठीक है। अब इस वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड को मैं रियल वर्ल्ड में कैसे लेके आया। देखिए पोस्ट क्रिएट करना या मेरी मतलब जितना मैं क्रिएटिव या अपनी वो दिखा सकता हूं मैं वो करता रहता हूं, लेकिन इसको मैं रियल वर्ल्ड में कैसे लेके आया। 2016 के अंदर सेहत सिंह रियल वर्ल्ड में आया। मैंने एक ऐसा फिटनेस सेंटर इमेजिन किया था जहां पे 8 साल से लेके 80 साल तक के आदमी के लिए जगह हो। वहां पे एक ऐसा इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट किया गया जहां पे बड़े भी आ सकें, छोटे बच्चे भी आ सकें। दिस इज व्हाट द होल आइडिया बिहाइंड सेहत वर्ल्ड। सेहत वर्ल्ड फिटनेस सेंटर 8000 स्क्वायर फीट फैसिलिटी, पहला जो एक कोशिश करी गई थी। 60 मीटर इंडोर रनिंग ट्रैक, अ डेडिकेटेड योगा रूम, अ डेडिकेटेड डांस हॉल, अ डेडिकेटेड किड्स जोन, अ डेडिकेटेड बॉक्सिंग स्पेस। तो उन सब का फायदा क्या हुआ? देखिए जो भी मेरा क्रिएटिव वाला एस्पेक्ट था ना, मैंने वो रियल वर्ल्ड में लाके दिखा दिया। यहाँ बैठे सभी लोगों को मैं इनवाइट करना चाहूंगा, जब कभी भी आप दिल्ली आए, द्वारका आए तो आइएगा। एक्सरसाइज नहीं कराऊंगा। सेहत वर्ल्ड शुरू किया, सेहत कैफे शुरू किया। जितनी भी बातें मैंने आपको बोली हैं, सेहत कैफे सिर्फ उन्हीं सब चीजों के आसपास रहता है। मल्टीग्रेन रोटी, मल्टीग्रेन खिचड़ी, जो भी इंडियन जो चीजें रही हैं, हेल्थ वाइज चीजों को मैंने अफोर्डेबल रखा हुआ है। ये मेरी सीए वाली पढ़ाई काम आई यहाँ पे ना। एक लाइफ में जो नंबर्स या जो कॉन्सेप्ट सीखे थे, कॉस्टिंग सीखी थी, इंटरनल कंट्रोल सीखे थे, सारी की सारी बिजनेस में लगा रखी है। 2018 में सेहत वर्ल्ड ग्रीन एक फिटनेस सेंटर मैंने शुरू किया। 2500 इंडोर प्लांट्स हैं, इंडिया फर्स्ट नेचर इंस्पायर्ड जिम। एक उसमें 30 फीट का वाटरफॉल बनाने की कोशिश की। तो जितना मैं नेचर के पास उस फैसिलिटी को ले जा सका। मैं कोई जिम सेटअप नहीं करता हूँ, मशीनें खरीद के डाल देना वो नहीं है। एक कॉन्सेप्ट रहता है, आपका मन खुश होगा वहां पर आके। दिस इज व्हाट आई एम डूइंग। रिसेंटली कोविड में थोड़ी चीजें जो है वो डाउन गई थी, उस दौरान मैंने सेहत नेचुरल शुरू किया। ये सब उनके लोग हैं, मेरी सारी दुनिया सेहत के आसपास रहती है, ठीक है। सेहत नेचुरल, सेहत वर्ल्ड, सेहत कैफे। ये कुछ फोटोग्राफ्स मैं आपके लिए लेकर आया हूं, थोड़ा सा आपको आइडिया लगेगा जो बातें मैंने आपको बोली हैं। अच्छा देखिए, इसमें एक फोटो, मैं ये फोटो जरूर आपको दिखाना चाहूंगा। सेहत वर्ल्ड में आपको सभी जो फोटोज वगैरह मिलेंगे ना, वो आपको इंडियन हीरोज के मिलेंगे। मैं इन्हें बहुत मानता हूं। और कोई ऐसा वो नहीं है कि बॉडी बिल्डर या बिफोर आफ्टर के चमत्कार, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं। ध्यानचंद आपको मिलेंगे, सचिन तेंदुलकर मिलेंगे, अखिल कुमार मिलेंगे, विजेंद्र सिंह मिलेंगे, मिल्खा सिंह मिलेंगे, राहुल द्रविड़ मिलेंगे। इन सब की फोटोज का आपको मिलेंगी इसमें। और भगवान की नेमत रही है मेरे ऊपर, जितनी फोटोग्राफ लगी हुई हैं उनमें से 12 से ज्यादा स्पोर्ट्समैन को अपने जिम में बुला चुका हूं और वो आए हैं। ये देख लीजिए, कुछ झलक मैं आपको दिखाना चाहूंगा। विजेंद्र सिंह, ओलंपिक सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट, अर्जुन अवार्डी, पद्मश्री अवार्डी। मैरी कॉम, अ बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फॉर मैरी कॉम। अखिल कुमार, योगेश्वर दत्त, दिस इज सेहत वर्ल्ड ग्रीन, दिस इज माय सेहत कैफे। आउटडोर एक्टिविटीज, जो भी चीजें आप ऑनलाइन देख रहे हैं उनको बाहर की दुनिया में लेके जाता हूं। बच्चों के ट्रेनिंग कैंप्स, आप ऐसी पहली ऑडियंस हैं जब मैं एक्सरसाइज नहीं करवा रहा हूं और सिर्फ बोल रहा हूं। अक्सर मुझे बुलाया जाता है तो मैं एक्सरसाइज करवाता हूं, आपके साथ भी कराऊंगा, ऐसे नहीं छोड़ूंगा आपको। चलिए कोशिश करता हूं, बैठे बैठे 2 एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, ठीक है मेरे साथ। याद तो रहेगा ना, कोई आया था यार, काफी सब लोगों ने लास्ट टाइम एक्सरसाइज की होगी। जस्ट होल्ड योर हैंड स्ट्रेट, स्ट्रेट कीजिए, स्ट्रेट कीजिए, फ्रंट फेसिंग, हैंड स्ट्रेट, स्ट्रेट कीजिए, थोड़ा जोर लगाइए, ईमानदारी से, हाथ स्ट्रेट नहीं है देखिए। रेज योर राइट हैंड, लेफ्ट हैंड से ऊपर लेके जाइए, लेफ्ट हैंड ऊपर लेके जाइए राइट से। कोशिश करें थोड़ी सी ना ईमानदारी से, आपको हाथ नीचे नहीं करने हैं, हाथ ऊपर रखिए। राइट को लेफ्ट से ऊपर लेकर आइए, कोशिश करें। देखिए बॉडी नहीं झुकानी है, सिर्फ राइट को ऊपर, लेफ्ट को ऊपर, राइट को ऊपर। हर बार जो है वो पुराना लेवल ब्रेक करना है। जिनकी भी सिटिंग जॉब है, ड्राइविंग ज्यादा करते हैं, बैठे ज्यादा रहते हैं, लाइफ में कभी आपको सर्वाइकल का इशू नहीं होगा। दिस इज माई प्रॉमिस। चलो रिलैक्स। और कराऊं? कंफर्टेबल सर, कंफर्टेबल? चलिए, पुट योर फोरहेड, सॉरी योर पाम ऑन योर फोरहेड। अब आप हाथों से पीछे पुश करेंगे और गर्दन से अपोजिट फोर्सेस में फोर्स लगानी है। हाथों से पीछे पुश कीजिए, गर्दन से आगे पुश कीजिए। पुट योर पाम ऑन योर फोरहेड, ठीक है, जोर लगाइए, अपोजिट फोर्सेस। गर्दन से आगे पुश करेंगे, हाथों से पीछे पुश करेंगे। होल्ड फॉर 9 सेकेंड, जितना आपका मैक्सिमम जहां पे फोर्स लगे वहां पे 9 सेकेंड का होल्ड कीजिए। चलिए रिलैक्स, चेंज करते हैं। चलिए पीछे से हाथों को आगे पुश करेंगे, गर्दन से पीछे पुश करेंगे। 9 सेकेंड का होल्ड। जोर लगाइए, जोर लगाइए, जोर लगाइए, जोर लगाइए, जोर लगाइए। 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, रिलैक्स। कहीं कुछ फील हुआ आपको? दिस पर्टिकुलर रीजन, नेक वाला रीजन। आई एम टेलिंग यू, ये दोनों एक्सरसाइजेस जो हैं वो करते रहिए। जितनी देर सिटिंग जॉब करनी है कीजिए, सर्वाइकल वाला इशू नहीं होगा, ठीक है ना? ये मेरी बात गारंटी रही आप लोगों को, ठीक है? चलिए मैं अपनी सारी बातों को कंक्लूड करूंगा और जितनी भी मैंने बातें बोली हैं शायद आप तक पहुंचे, तो मैं उसके साथ ही जो सेहत सिंह, जो मेरा एक फोर्टे है, जो मैं करता हूं लाइफ में, मैं उसके लिए लेके आ रहा हूं। तो एक पोएट्री है, बस सांसें ना लिया कीजिए, जिंदा है तो जिया कीजिए, कुछ ना कुछ तो नया कीजिए, खट्टा मीठा मजा लीजिए, बस सांसें ना लिया कीजिए, अपना ख्याल रखा कीजिए, अपनों से अक्सर मिला कीजिए, खुद को यूं ना सजा दीजिए, थोड़े सपने सजा लीजिए, कभी इश्क भी किया कीजिए। आप तालियां बजा सकते हैं वैसे, आपने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था ना, मतलब बॉडी बिल्डर और जैसे जैसे नाम मेरे लिए बोले जा रहे थे कि वो ऐसी बातें करेगा। कभी इश्क भी किया कीजिए, अपने दिल की सुना कीजिए, मुसीबतों से लड़ा कीजिए, औरों के लिए भी दुआ कीजिए, दिल के अरमान जला लीजिए, एक चिंगारी को तो हवा दीजिए। थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू। सेहत की बातें सुनने के लिए, सेहत सिंह को सुनने के लिए आप सभी का बहुत शुक्रिया। थैंक यू। मैं एक चीज और जोड़ना चाहूंगा जो मैं लिखकर लेकर आया था, मैं आपको शायद मैंने मिस कर दिया। मुझसे अक्सर पूछा जाता है कि, मैंने जैसे बताया कि मुझसे मेरा मेंबरशिप नंबर भी पूछ लिया जाता है, कितना कमा लेता है। ये सवाल तो मैं बहुत रूटीन से फेस करता हूं, तो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि मैं कितना कमा लेता हूं। मेरी वजह से, सेहत सिंह की वजह से किसी ने स्मोकिंग करना छोड़ दिया, वो मेरी कमाई है। मेरी वजह से किसी ने एक्सरसाइज करना शुरू कर दिया, वो मेरी कमाई है। मेरी वजह से किसी ने नींद की गोलियां खाना मतलब बंद कर दिया, वो मेरी कमाई है। तो दिस इज व्हाट माय ऑल अर्निंग इज। और सीए और सेहत सिंह मतलब दोनों एक ही काम कर रहे हैं, हेल्पिंग अदर्स। तो मैं अपने प्रोफेशन को, अपने पैशन को मतलब साथ मिला के चलता हूँ, साथ मिला के जीता हूँ। दिस इज ऑल माई स्टोरी ऑफ सेहत सिंह। थैंक यू ऑल।
Thank you very much, Sehat Singh ji. I requested not to ask to stretch, but finally you asked us to do 3 exercises. Thank you very much. It was a good learning. Now I would like to invite our chairman and vice chairman with Amit Khetan to the stage for a moment. अभी कीजिए पे थोड़ी सी तुकबंदी है, अभी बैठे बैठे बनाई है। मेंबर्स कमेटी की भी सुना कीजिए, रजिस्टर करते हो तो इवेंट अटेंड किया कीजिए। And from next event onwards, we are launching a unique concept of penalties. A member who will register and will not attend that session, for next session he has to pay 250 dirhams to attend. No, it's a serious. Today we got. Yeah. So I'm just sharing so you can share with your near and dears. Yeah, sir. Formal email will go. Today we got 450 registration and we committed based the past experience of a number to the hotel. We arranged everything and today turnaround is only 250 members. So it's members' money. It's nothing, we are not losing anything. Members who are not attending, they are losing your money because you are attending. So we request each and everyone, please convey the message. If you do not want to attend, cancel the registration. Our chairman has done a tremendous efforts to update that website. Now you can click the same registration tab. It will lead you to the cancellation of the registration. So at least do that. So we will come to know and we can replan and rethink on the venue, on various arrangements. Thank you very much. हाँ बजा दो आराम से, कभी कभी तालियां भी बजा लीजिए. But Kulvinder said that no need to do rigorous exercise. तो whenever जब भी मन करा कीजिए, तालियां बजा लीजिए. Last but not the least, to get that extra in life, we need to live with passion. For me, this is the extra pinch of sugar in the sweet. The power kicker that will have your dreams coming towards you at VG speed. If we do all the others well but leave this off, our dreams will start heaving. Going from ordinary to extraordinary means living with passion. And today we have with us our next speaker who had her inclination to become a Bollywood star. She had a dream to be a professional with her passion towards Bollywood. And she is none other than CA Arshin Mehta. And to introduce CA Arshin Mehta, I would like to invite our executive committee member, CA Dheeraj Ranasaria, to the stage. तालियां भी बजा लीजिए.
Good evening, members. After exercise, let's go to the Bollywood. Arshin Mehta, she is an actress and chartered accountant by qualification. She is from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. After her 12th, she moved to Pune for pursuing her CA. However, she always inclines towards acting and dreamed of being a Bollywood star. So after completing her CA, she took part in a lot of beauty pageants and won quite a few of them, which helped her make her way into Bollywood.
In no time, she started cracking auditions in Mumbai and grabbed projects like TV commercials, digital ads, print shoots, and brand endorsement extra. Soon, she got her first movie. May I ask members maybe who see which first movie she got it? Bajrangi Bhaijaan. I believe everybody has seen that movie. After her first movie, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, and then there was no looking back. As of now, she has completed more than 5 movies project. As a mainstream actress, appeared in now 150 TV digital ads and few web series. Beside acting, she loves to dance, read, travel, and spending time for her family and friends. So welcome her with a very round of applause, Arse Mehta.
Jalwa, Jalwa. Yo, blaze up the walk, light it up to the beat. Come on, Jalwa. Give it to me, Jalwa. Give it to me, Jalwa. Gorgeous with attitude.
क्या हुआ? स्पीच भी देनी थी क्या? हिला? मैंने तो सोचा बस वॉक करके निकल ही गया। अनुराग जी, हो गया? नहीं? अरे चलो ठीक है, थोड़ा एक्टिंग करना था ना। Hi, good evening everyone, and happy CA Day to all of you out here. What an interesting audience it is out here. सब लोग बोलते हैं CA लोग बोरिंग है, कहाँ बोरिंग है? We have so many interesting people out here. Dinesh sir, what an inspiring story you had. Seriously, you've done so much for the society in the field of education. Amazing. And Sehaji, I am definitely going to get some tips from you later on. And most important, हमारे producer जी है यहाँ पे. As an actor, I need him. So yeah, you were also very, very inspiring. So I would like to thank Dubai chapter ICI for calling me here and giving me this opportunity. I am so honored and I'm obliged to be a part of this event. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dubai ICI. Thank you, Anurag, for calling me here. Thank you, everyone. Well, before I start my speech and everything, एक चीज़ मुझे हमेशा मिलती है लोगों से, एक इंसिडेंट हमेशा होता है। पता है लोग क्या पूछते हैं? मैं कभी भी मीटिंग में जाती हूँ या कहीं भी जाती हूँ ना, of course you introduce yourself. You go to casting directors, you go to directors, you meet hundreds of people. तो you introduce yourself and I'm like, मैं एक CA हूँ. तो लोग सोते सोते, हाँ क्या क्या तुम CA? तो तुम एक्टिंग में क्या कर रही हो? ऑडिशन देने क्यों आई हो? मैंने बोला क्यों? तो I'm like, क्यों CA लोग ऑडिशन नहीं दे सकते क्या? नहीं, अगर तुम्हें एक्टर ही बनना था तो तुमने CA क्यों किया? और अगर CA किया तो तुम एक्टिंग में क्यों आई हो? I'm like, अरे भाई साहब, फाइनली आज मैं आंसर करने ही वाली हूँ कि मैंने CA के बाद एक्टिंग क्यों किया, राइट? So let me start. My journey starts with हम सबकी जर्नी बहुत यूनिक थी, यूनिक है, एंड मेरी भी जर्नी बहुत यूनिक है. आई डिडंट वांट टू स्टॉप एट बीइंग CA. मेरा बचपन से ही ड्रीम था कि मैं एक बॉलीवुड एक्ट्रेस बनूं. यू नो, मेरी मम्मी ना, मैं जब बचपन में छोटी थी, शी यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज टेल मी, यू द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल गर्ल इन द वर्ल्ड, यू द प्रिटीएस्ट गर्ल इन द वर्ल्ड. वो कहीं ना दिमाग में बहुत घुस गई थी. So then I finally thought कि अगर मम्मी ने बोला है तो why not I try Miss India, you know, because तभी notion ऐसा ही था कि Miss India में, you know, beautiful girls walk the ramp and everything. And I think every girl has a dream of having a crown on her head, right? Like every girl wants that. एंड देन मैंने एक मूवी देखी थी बॉलीवुड वाली DDLJ, दिल वाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे. The moment I saw that, I was like, भाई साहब मुझे काजल जैसा बनना है. Then I finally decided मैं मिस इंडिया करूँगी and then I will go to Bollywood. So I was like, I was a little confused, but then eventually मैंने ठान ली थी कि अभी मैं CA बनने के बाद एक्टर ही बनूंगी. So मैं स्कूलिंग जब हो रहा था, जब मम्मी के फ्रेंड्स आते थे, मम्मी डैडी के फ्रेंड्स, they used to always say कि ये डॉक्टर बनेगी या इंजीनियर बनेगी या CEO बनेगी, इसमें जाएगी उसमें जाएगी. और मैं अंदर ही अंदर सोचती थी भाई साहब मैं तो एक्टिंग ही करने वाली हूँ, मैं काम करती हूँ, अगर मैं एक्टर बनूंगी तो मैं सब कुछ बनूंगी, राइट? I can be a doctor, I can be an engineer, I can get into army, I can do everything. So I really like that part also कि CA एक्टिंग करने के बाद मैं सारे फील्ड्स कवर अप कर पाऊंगी. So anyways then मेरा 11th 12th हो गया. 12th में I scored very well. I scored 99 in accounts, maths and everything and I was first in university. तो डैड ने बोला मेरी बेटी इंटेलिजेंट है, CA करेगी. अरे इंटेलिजेंट का क्या लेना देना है CA से, राइट? और कॉमर्स लिया था, तो कॉमर्स में सबसे डिफिकल्ट क्या होता है? CA ही होता है. सो आई एम लाइक ठीक है चलो कर लेते हैं, बिकॉज तभी तो सुननी पड़ती होती है ना व्हेन यू आर 14-15 years old. बट मैंने सोचा ठीक है एक्टिंग करके भी क्या करूँगी. आई वाज फ्रॉम अ स्मॉल टाउन कॉल्ड अहमद नगर. यहाँ पे एक्टिंग का किसी को A भी नहीं पता था, कोई फैमिली में एक्टर भी नहीं था, तो मैं क्या करती. सुनना था मॉम डैड का सपना था कि आई डू CA. Eventually I did CA. And though my family would have been supportive, but still I decided let me do CA and see what happens. So after my 12th I did my CPT था तभी, if you know CPT होता था. And मैंने coincidentally पास कर दिया in 1 month's time. तो मेरा CPT का एग्ज़ाम रिजल्ट पहले आ गया then 12th. And I joined the office. And I was like चलो मैं फ्लुक से पास भी हो गई. उसके बाद फर्स्ट डे आई वेंट टू ऑफिस, अंदर मॉडलिंग का ही भूत था. एंड आई एम लाइक अभी तो मुझे करना ही पड़ेगा इंटर्नशिप एंड एवरीथिंग. आई वाज लाइक ठीक है. व्हेन आई वेंट टू द ऑफिस मैंने क्या किया होगा, आई ड्रेस्ड अप लाइक अ वेरी हॉट मॉडल एंड आई वेंट टू द ऑफिस. I wore hot pants, I wore a very tight top and I went to the office. Of course, modeling का भूत जो था मेरे दिमाग में, I had no idea कि क्या होता है. And then my colleague said कि अर्शन ऑफिस में ऐसे ड्रेसअप करके नहीं आते हैं, wear a salwar suit. I was like hardly 16-17. Then ऑफिस का काम भी हो गया and everything. फिर I started doing my CA. There were many times when I got frustrated, I wanted to give up. मैं फ्रस्ट्रेटेड इसलिए होती थी बिकॉज बहुत बार मैं क्लियर भी नहीं होती थी. एंड आई यूज्ड टू बी लाइक यार मुझे CA नहीं करना, मुझे तो मिस इंडिया बनना था, मेरी एज जा रही है, मैं कुछ भी नहीं कर रही हूँ, मैं फेल हो रही हूँ, मैं क्या करूँ. सो आई हैड टाइम्स व्हेन आई वाज वेरी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड एंड आई वांटेड टू गिव अप एंड ऑल. बट देन माय मोटो इज इफ आई हैव टेकन एनीथिंग इन लाइफ I will not stop at it. I will see to it that I will finish it no matter what then. So then मैंने सोचा कि अभी कुछ भी हो जाए मैं CA कंप्लीट करूँगी. Eventually मैंने CA कंप्लीट किया. You know, now when I think कि मम्मी डैडी ने मुझे जो CA कंप्लीट करने के लिए बोला था, I am so thankful to them. You know why? Because now when I approach people and when I tell the directors then I'm a CA, वो लोग ऐसे लिखते होते हैं like क्या तुम CA हो? And I'm like yeah. And they don't believe me. They literally don't believe me and I have to show my card. I'm like, see, I'm a CA. And then they're like, oh my God, तुम सच्ची में CA हो. And then the respect that I get, then the way they behave in front of me, because usually they think कि modeling, acting में लोग ऐसे ही आ जाते हैं. But when I tell them that I'm a CA ना, they start taking me very seriously कि ये ऐसी वैसी लड़की नहीं है, ये intelligent है, ये hard working है, इसकी lines भी अच्छे से याद हो जाएगी. You know, lines होती है. So then they are like, ये बंदी serious है, इसको ले लेते हैं. So now I feel कि becoming a CA was so much an advantage to me. You know, it makes you stand out from the rest of the people. I know that I'm not anybody, I am somebody. So yeah, I like the fact when I tell people I'm a CA in my industry. Huh? Not here, यहाँ पे तो सब लोग ही CA है. So yeah, मैं acting हर जगह करती थी. Okay, actually ना हमें script पढ़ने की बहुत आदत है, तो मैं अगर कुछ miss out ना करूँ इसलिए I'm just reading अगर मैं कुछ भूल जाऊँ. So yeah, so eventually when I thought कि CA had now become my strength, my power, my confidence, and which actually empowered me to take a lot of challenges. Then eventually after completing CA, I was so happy, you know, वो result आ जाता है, तुम लोग पास लिख देते हो, and I was so happy. Dad ने 5 साल पहले एक blue label लाई थी. Finally he opened the day when I cleared the CA. My house was filled with bouquets and flowers, and family and friends were all over my house congratulating me, and mummy was like, everybody was like, अभी KPMG में करेगी, Deloitte में करेगी, ENY में करेगी, बहुत सारा पैसा कमाएगी. And I'm like, guys, तो mummy like, तो अभी क्या करेगी तू? I'm like, guys, chill. मैं Miss India का form fill up कर रही हूँ, अभी age जा रही है मेरी. And they're like, what? We thought you were kidding. I'm like, no, I was not kidding. I am filling up Miss India form. And then Dad was like, let her do what she wants. Nah? She did what we wanted, now let her do. But then Mom, being concerned, she was a little, she was scared. But then eventually they all supported me and everybody supported me. Yeah, I got a lot of people telling my parents, क्या कर रही है आपकी बेटी, उसको बोलो ये सब छोड़ दे, एक्टिंग में क्या रखा है, सीए करने के लिए इतना अच्छा जॉब मिलेगा, पैसे कमाएंगी, this, that. अरे I didn't want to run behind money, you know. पैसा तो वैसे भी आ जाता if you love what you do. So eventually I thought, नहीं, I'm sure CA में बहुत पैसा कमाते हैं लोग, but I still wanted to be an actor. So then I pursued my childhood dream of becoming an actor. Then I just want to say कि CA ना कोई थप्पा नहीं है. You aren't sealed once you do CA. You know, people have this wrong notion. मैं जब भी CA बोलती हूँ कि मैं CA हूँ, यार हमारा ITR फाइल कर ले, यार अकाउंट्स के बारे में कुछ कर दे, यार तू हमारा ऑडिट कर दे, फाइनेंस संभाल रहे. अरे CA का इमेज ही बना दिया है. CA का इमेज क्या होता है? अकाउंट्स, डेबिट, क्रेडिट, टैक्स, all that. Whenever I say I'm a CA, people start asking me कि यार टैक्स का रेट क्या चल रहा है, तुम कुछ कर सकती हो हमारे लिए. So this became very irritating. So I feel कि all we CAs, it is our collective responsibility to change this idea, this image of our CAs, you know. It is our responsibility and to tell the society that we are something more than CAs also. Like, आप सबका भी childhood dream तो होगा ही ना कुछ. आप सबको CA तो नहीं बनना होगा ना बचपन से, right? हाँ? बचपन से क्या क्या बनना होगा था, मतलब CA तो पता भी नहीं होगा when you must be a kid, 4-5 years के, right? You might wanted to be a singer, dancer, actor, or something else. All I want to say is कि, you know, आप लोगों के dream को don't finish it off. जो आपका creative dream था, pursue that. You can pursue that any time. It's never ever too late to do something what you love, which you are passionate about. I feel life is too short. And my motto, सच्ची बोलूँ क्या है? I want to do everything. My parents used to tell me, you can't do everything, you can't have everything. But I used to always say, नहीं, मुझे सब कुछ करना है और मुझे सब कुछ चाहिए. Other than acting, now I feel I want to be a producer also. I want to open a production house also. Besides, I love animals, so I'm thinking I'll open a kennel also. I love doing some social work. I hate waste management. I hate, you know, things getting wasted. So मैं सोचती हूँ कोई waste management company खोल दूँ, कुछ ना कुछ कर लूँ. So all I'm saying is, I don't want to stop doing things in life. I want to keep doing something or the other which makes me happy. Lately, I have seen CAs getting into being entrepreneurs, being business people. I want to see more CAs who are in the field of art, who are in the field of sports, literature, etc. And I'm so sure that आप सब में से ही there would be so many people who must be having so many skill and would be talented. So I guess it is a responsibility towards yourself to explore that creative child that you have in you, which excites you and gives you joy. Okay, Anurag ji, आप बताइए, what gives you joy? कुछ तो होगा ना बचपन में. यार वो तो है ही है. बचपन में what you wanted to serve the fraternity or what? हाँ? Okay. गुल्ली डंडा, what you said? दिनेश जी, आपका क्या था बचपन में सपना? Yes. Ooh, producer is right there. So, yeah, all I want to say is don't kill that dream, you know. You know what, and you can still, abhi to OTT platform aa gaya, and I'm telling you, people like you have a lot of scope besides everyone out here. Producer yahi baitha hai. So, for me, walking on the ramp, acting in front of the camera, becoming a different character really excited me. Besides, lately, अभी तो मुझे directors and producers उनकी meetings में भी लेके जाते हैं, बोलते कि तुम CA हो ना, तुम ही हमारा budget बनाओ, you do marketing and everything, and I think I'm enjoying that. I'm exploring this thing also in me. Well, even for acting, मैंने directly jump नहीं किया. अभी अगर CA में मैंने 4 या 5 साल लगाए हैं, तो acting में कुछ ना कुछ तो सीखना पड़ेगा ना. So then, initially CA करते करते क्या हो जाता है, बैठ के weight put on हो जाता है, right? सेहत जी, weight put on होता है. मैंने भी बहुत weight put on किया था because I used to eat a lot of chocolates while doing CA. So I had to do a lot of training, weight loss training, because Miss India mein you need that perfect body and everything, which I had to, you know, which I had to do. After that, I did a lot of acting workshops also. I kept working on my skills. Besides, now also, I keep working on my skill. Even whenever I get time, I attend these acting workshops. There's a theatre group called Natya Kiran Manch in Mumbai, which I have joined. Whenever I get time, I keep working on my skills. I do dancing. अभी मैंने gymnastic किया है, जिसकी वजह से मुझे यहाँ लगा है. I keep doing gymnastic. So, I know, जब gymnastic करती हूँ, जब लोगों को पता है कि CA gymnastic में आई है, you know, वो gymnastic क्या होता है, and they get surprised कि CA gymnastic में क्यों आई है, you know, and then I tell them that I'm an actor and all. So, all I want to say is that it's very, very important to keep working and to feed yourself with such activities, to charge yourself, you know, and to keep working on yourself. And it's not that I have got what I've always wanted, you know. There was a time when एक sir ने मुझे बोल दिया था, ये लड़की ना कभी CA नहीं बनेगी. जब भी मैं क्लास में एंटर होती थी ना, मैं फैशनेबली ड्रेस होती थी. पूना में ऐसे 200, 300, 400, 500 का बैच हुआ करता था. और एक तो मैं लेट आती थी. तो मैं ड्रेसअप होके जब भी ऐसे क्लास में चलती थी, सब लोग ऐसे नज़र में देखते थे. सबको डिस्टर्ब होता था. So one day sir told me कि तुम ना CA बनोगी ही नहीं. तुम कुछ भी कर लो, तुम्हें क्या एक्टिंग मॉडलिंग करना है ना, फैशन करना है ना, तुम वही करो. And I got very nervous. I was crying. I went to the bathroom. I called up my father, brother, and I'm like, this sir is telling me, no sir, I will never become a CA. And he's like, relax, relax. Just because बोल दिया, that doesn't mean कि तुम नहीं बनोगी. So yeah, he always motivated me. And yeah, I had failures. I had failures in CA, in Bollywood, in my life, but it did not stop me. I kept going on and on and on my dreams with full hopes and confidence. You know, जब मैं CA कर रही थी, मैं बहुत irritate हो जाती थी. And irritation में I started troubling my parents also. I would not let dad watch TV on loud. He used to watch TV on mute. I would tell my mom, मम्मी मुझे खाना खिलाती थी, and exam से पहले she used to be like, मैं हर पेपर के पहले रोई हूँ, हर पेपर के पहले रोई हूँ, I swear. And the day I did not cry, my mom was like, Arshin, you didn't cry? तू जब रोती है ना तो तेरा पेपर बहुत अच्छा जाता है. And I would start crying. So I have had a lot when I was doing CA. Let me tell you a few more stories if I recall. Yeah, I had gone bonkers at the end of doing my CA. Bonkers in such a way कि मम्मी ने बोल दिया था मेरी बेटी इसके आगे CA नहीं करेगी. I started getting disturbed with everything. I should not say this, but I was getting disturbed with fans, lights, AC, my hands. मतलब पता नहीं CA ने मुझे पागल कर दिया था at the end of it. So, but then eventually when I cleared CA, it made me feel so happy because now I know that now I can live my dream of becoming an actor and Miss India. So then what happened was, okay, I have to read key if I'm not missed out on any points. Yeah, so so how it started was after I finished off my CA journey, I started giving a lot of auditions. First I did my Miss India and I won a few pageants, which gave me a lot of confidence. And after that, I shifted to Bombay and I was just relaxing one day and I got a call from a casting director saying, "Ma'am, हम एक movie कर रहे बजरंगी भाईजान. Will you want to be a part of it?" So I was like, बजरंगी भाईजान कौन है उसमें? He's like, "Ma'am, सलमान खान है." I was like, भाई साहब, मुंबई आते ही सलमान खान के साथ movie. And I was like, lead में है? नहीं मैम, छोटा सा character है. And I'm like, अरे भाई यार, पूरे सपनों का तोड़ दिया. But I was like, ठीक है, what is it? And then he explained me and I was like, ठीक है यार, it's just a start, let me do it. So yeah, I always say Salman Khan has been my lucky charm because that was the first project I did into this acting industry. So after that, I knew that I didn't want to stop. I always think that, we just have one life, just one life. And I try and I want to do everything till the end, of course with the right guidance and belief in the universe. After that, I never stopped acting. मैंने देखा अभी मुझे काम मिल रहा है. I kept on going and going, started giving auditions, started getting work, and it gave me more and more confidence. The more I gave auditions, the more I got work. So all I'm saying is your journey should not stop. It should keep moving and moving. You should explore yourself. You should explore your talent, human nature, arts, because the journey is the most exciting part, not the destination. Destination chahe kuch bhi ho. And I as a person am enjoying if I'm getting rejected, enjoying if I'm getting the part of the movie. Now last year I did 4 movies. This year I did a web movie, which will be releasing. And Anurag, you better convey your fraternity when I tell you what it is. So becoming CA should not stop you from venturing into anything in the world. Rather, it should empower you as you have cleared one of the most toughest exam on this planet. You've cracked CA. So if you can do CA, I am sure you can do anything in the world, right? So, it's not a statement. I actually feel it. Like, there are creative people into our industry. Sehat Singh, there's Amnish Nandawat who has accompanied me from Mumbai. He's such a great theatre artist. He's a talented singer, theatre actor. He plays all the instruments. So yeah, there have been creative people into our industries as well now. And I'm sure people sitting here also, I'm sure you guys also have a lot of skills and talents in you, which should come up in the next Dubai chapter, right? So yeah, all I'm saying is just do your best and leave the rest. Play, laugh, travel the world, have fun with family and friends, and one thing, live your childhood dream and live your life to the fullest because you just have one. Thank you all, and God bless you. Yeah, your turn.
Thank you, Siernish.
You guys have any questions? I'm very used to asking this. किसी के भी पास भी क्वेश्चन नहीं यार अभी बोला मैंने ये लोग बोरिंग नहीं होते हैं डोंट प्रूव मी रॉन्ग आई एम जस्ट किडिंग
Let me ask. Please share some beauty tips.
Drink a lot of water. I'm sure दुबई में पानी की तो कमी नहीं है. But drink a lot of water. And as Sehat Singh said, exercise.
No, he said don't do exercise. Yeah.
Sorry यार कान में कोई problem हुआ रहेगा.
No, he said don't do exercise. He said do whatever you want.
अच्छा, one beauty tip. Always smile. The moment you smile, you start looking pretty anyways, right?
Okay, thank you, Anish. Thank you very much. Let us have a background applause for C. Anish Mehta.
Thank you.
I would like to invite Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Dheeraj Rana Sariya to the stage to present a memento.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
As last part of the event, I would like to invite our Executive Committee member, CA Sanjay Gagrani, for formal vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, eminent chartered speaker, our most valued invited guest, Mr. Chairman, ExCom members, and professional colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and happy CA Day. I, on behalf of ICI Dubai chapter and entire ExCom committee, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all our speakers for gracing the event and making a grand success today. A big thank you to Chief Guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar, for sharing his phenomenal life experiences. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for our guest of honor, C.A. Dinesh Kotariji, for inspiring story. Further, we are grateful to Chartered Speaker, C.A. Mandar Joshi, for demonstrating and providing key insight and explaining how to build a successful unicorn, and bonus tip Baj, how to practice death meditation. We are also thankful to have Chartered Speaker C.A. Kulvinder Ruhil, who has highlighted the importance of healthy living. And you have given a concept of "and today," real meaning to it. And finally, we are also delighted to have Chartered Speaker, actress C.A. Arshin Mehta, who has shared her fairy tale journey to Bollywood. We all inspired by your great words. I would like to thank our sponsor, who are always supporting us. Thanks to our title sponsor, Saudi German Hospitals, principal sponsor, Pen Home Furnishing, AGMC, Tally, IFCO, and Lulu. Our platinum sponsor, WMS, CloudSoup, Emirates Chartered Accountants Group, UHPI James. Thanks to our media partner, Khalis Time, FMCG partner, Aktia, institutional partner, Delhi Private School, and banking partner, Bank of Baroda. Many thanks to all our participants, and have a great evening. Thank you very much.